Corrina never lets me forget this, but one time it was when we'd been dating maybe 6 months at this point, and I had quit smoking completely.
Oh my God.
It was like Thanksgiving, like the day after Thanksgiving, we went to her house so she could grab some clothes and everything. We were going back to my place, and I had all the leftovers from what my mom made for Thanksgiving.
Oh no.
So she's like, do you want to get stoned with me? And then we can go back to your house and just eat and watch a movie. I was like, you know what? Honestly, that sounds phenomenal. And I haven't smoked in like 9 months, so it'll be out of my system quick. Yeah, we can do that. So I took a rip, and then she's like, just remember on the way back before we get to your house, I have to go to the store. I got to buy some stuff. I was like, okay. And we got down the street and we were getting closer to my house. She's like, remember the store? And I was just like at the light, store. So there you go.
I about died laughing. That shit was hilarious. I thought you were going to talk about something else.
No, maybe. I don't know.
Well, he said that I don't ever let him forget about it. So of course, I thought he was going to talk about the chicken skin.
No, only you will never forget about that. I forget about that weekly.
I will never forget it.
Every time you bring it up, I forget.
It literally, like, if you go before me, it is going to be talked about at your service, okay? I loved this motherfucker, but this one time, he tricked me and ate my chicken skin, damn it. I will never forget it.
Tricky. I'm very good. So,
stupid.
All right, Chris, I got to know. I see the giant Celtics logo behind you.
Yes, sir.
Are you out of Boston?
I'm in Massachusetts. I'm from Cape Cod. I'm like an hour outside Boston.
Patriots fan as well?
No, surprisingly not.
Fucking God.
Yeah.
Everybody's like,
it's good. It's good for everybody else, but it's bad for me. I'm actually a Dolphins fan. So I grew up in New England while they were actually good for once, and I just wasn't a fan. I just had to deal with them my entire life. So
that's fair. Well, as a Falcons fan, I hate the Patriots for obvious reasons. So
as a Chiefs fan, I too hate them for obvious reasons.
There you go. I'm like a pseudo Chiefs fan now. I root for Patrick Mahomes to win every Super Bowl if the Dolphins can't, which they can't. Just I want Mahomes to catch up to Brady so bad, man. Just so I have an argument here.
Hey, Dolphins look good on paper.
On paper, yes. On paper, yes.
Well, yeah, that's the thing is like Patrick Mahomes is, I was talking to our kids about it because they're finally showing a little bit of interest in football. Mm-hmm. And I started talking to him about it and I was like, dude, no, Patrick Mahomes is a different level of good. Like he does stuff that you don't think is possible. And like I started thinking about, I was like, the closest analogy is the way Michael Jordan changed basketball. He did things people thought weren't possible, and that's what Patrick Mahomes does. It's to me the same effect.
Right.
Yeah, for sure. I just need like an argument to counteract the Tom Brady thing. So if like Mahomes could go ahead and win 7 or 8, then I could just be like, can you guys shut up now about Tom Brady being the greatest of all time? That way I just have some kind of counter argument here, because otherwise I'm just like conceding.
Compare where they are right now, age to age. Mahomes is far better.
Yeah, but you can't say that to fans in Boston, man.
You can't. No common sense over there.
100%.
Patriots fans, anyway.
No, all of them.
Celtics, you can't argue about Celtics fans. I mean, it's 18 banners?
Yeah. But dude, in Boston, man, it's all bad.
I got 1 banner. Blazers.
Proud of that one, though.
Fuck you guys both, because I got 0, okay? I got absolutely dog shit. That's what I got.
I don't even have a basketball team.
I'm talking just Falcons.
Just overall.
Well, the Falcons have the record for oldest franchise without a championship. So there's that.
Biggest halftime lead in the Super Bowl.
Why you got to bring up old shit, bro?
Damn.
Hey,
bruh.
So how is
below
it?
The belt.
How is
look
it?
what shirt she's wearing. Come on, man. She started it.
So Josh,
what do you mean? I'm just sitting here. As Derek said, I'm just here to be pretty, okay?
What's it like knowing that every stadium you go into, the refs are on your roster?
You just got to pass on the jokes from Tom Brady down to Mahomes because you have nothing else.
Well, I've got a victory by Buffalo, so there's that.
Oh, come on. There were some blown calls in that game from Buffalo today.
Let's go.
I'm just kidding. I didn't even watch it.
Josh is sour because Katie's whooping all of our asses in fucking fantasy football. She's never played before.
I won last year. I'm good. That's my excuse.
All right.
See, but all that this tells me is that in a way, the Bills outweigh Taylor.
had a really hard time this week, guys.
I bet you did.
It like solidified. I was like, oh my God, I'm really a Bills fan. Because this wasn't the game where I was like, go Taylor's boyfriend. I was like, Coach Allen.
I'm sorry, Travis. I love you, but
so good.
Please lose.
I think Chris just realized what he signed up for as soon as you said the Taylor thing.
I
saw the look and then the beer. I was like, oh, welcome to the fucking Thunderdome.
It comes with the territory these days.
Are you ready for it?
I'm here. I'm locked in.
We're Swifties, but we don't Swift out too much on the podcast. Only when we really want to annoy our listeners that complain about it.
Hey, you know what? This is your show. You guys can do whatever you want.
Yeah, exactly. Fuck it. I mean, we're not going to, but we could.
We could.
All right. So I've got to ask this, Chris. Obviously, you have a podcast called Caged In. And we're going to have that all linked below. So anyone checking that out is definitely subscribe, follow Chris. Make sure you're checking that out. Now, do you just cover the UFC or do you cover different levels of MMA altogether?
No, so I cover mixed martial arts from, all over the world, all over the country, every level from 0 and 0 amateurs making their very first fight to fighters in the UFC. I've interviewed everybody from all spectrums of the sport. What I do is just kind of shine a light on, the fighters in mixed martial arts to help them tell their stories and, share their lives outside of fighting. Because a lot of people have a stigma as fighters, as you think that these really tough dudes, and a lot of them are, but they have a lot of cool stories that they want to tell and tell people about rather than just them playing punch face every Saturday night, 3 or 4 times a year. So that's what I try to do. And I try to help them promote whatever events they have coming up. So I'll have a fighter from New England that will come on that has a fight in a couple weeks. And I just want to help them promote whatever they have going on in the sport, because it's tough for these guys to make a way in the very beginning of their career. And, obviously the UFC is the holy grail. It's like getting to the NFL. But a lot of guys don't make it there. So there's a lot of guys that go forgotten. And I'm just trying to help, those guys reach a bigger audience and help tell their story as well.
That's awesome. Man.
That's awesome. I love that.
Thanks, guys.
I hate making comparisons, but why we started doing this was we're like, with the challenge, all we get is the edit. With the fighters, all you get is the 3 rounds of 5 minutes or the 5 rounds
interviews
of 5 minutes
that they might,
but
yeah, for sure. It's always about fighting all the time. And, they have families and stuff they want to talk about too, so I try to just open the door for them to talk about whatever they want.
That's awesome. Yeah, people are multifaceted. I love that. 100%. I think that's great. Just kind of showing people a different side to that world and to those people. I love it.
So, we always ask Mount Rushmore about the challenge. So I'm curious about who's your Mount Rushmore in MMA?
Ooh, in MMA, I mean, the number 1 greatest of all time just fought last weekend, John Jones. Yep. He's my number 1. Number 2, I got to go George St. Pierre. Number 3, I'll probably go Demetrius Johnson.
I like it.
Yeah, 125. A lot of people sleep on the lighter weight class guys.
Mighty Mouse.
And then number 4, I'm trying to think if I'm forgetting anybody. I probably am. I'll go Anderson Silva, number 4.
Nice. I
love it.
I like that.
I'm probably missing somebody because I'm like somebody that always keeps the top 5 for almost everything. So
Chael Sonnen? No, just kidding.
No, I do love Uncle Chael though, man. He's hilarious.
He's from this area, that's why.
There you go.
I'm going to quickly get out of my waters in discussing MMA because a little bit I hear now is when I listen to Rogan's podcast or I listen to his fight, his fight previews. But I was very into it from about 2001 to 2012-ish, right around there, which I think a lot of people kind of consider almost the golden era of the UFC.
The best era to me.
Yeah. But I also remember watching the very first UFC where it was Royce Gracie and Ken Shamrock, and it was you fought multiple times throughout the night, and it was a very different type of MMA than we see now.
No weight classes, different styles. Yeah, it was different.
I'm watching Tank Abbott break his hand every fight.
Well, and the whole point of it was just to see what art form of martial arts was considered the best in an actual fight, because everybody says, it's karate or it's taekwondo or it's jiu-jitsu or it's aikido. Right, and the world found out really quick that this 165-pound guy that looked like nobody wearing a gi proved that jiu-jitsu is the definitive one, and it's carried on all the way through.
Yeah, not to mention they weren't even doing weight classes in those tournaments back then either. So you had sumo wrestlers that were 300 plus pounds,
Wow.
Grappling with, Hoist Gracie, who was like 170, like you said at the time. So it was like just pulling people from all over the world that had their specific disciplines and trying to figure out which one was the best. And that snowballed into a sport that's become the fastest growing sport that I've ever seen in my lifetime, at least. And it's like a 100%. worldwide phenomenon now, man. Every Saturday night there's fights on. People are tuned in at the bars or at home or whatever, man. So it's just crazy to see how far the sport's come.
100%. And dangers of weed right there. I forgot what I was going to say, but
it's not my bad to cut you off, man. I should have let you keep going.
No. This is going to happen all night, and Corrina does wonders in the editing, so she makes us actually look like we know what we're doing.
What do you mean? This has never happened before, ever.
Yeah, exactly.
I got a MMA question for you.
Sure, hit me.
Did Matt Hughes fall asleep and then wake up champion for his first belt?
Ooh, probably yes.
That's blasphemy for me, but all right.
All right.
So I'm going to take the contrarian view real quick on the Mount Rushmore, because to me it's not necessarily who's the best pound for pound. It's who meant the most for me as far as MMA fighters that got me into it. And Matt Hughes is on that list for me. Like it really proved to me, like as a 19-year-old, that wrestling was really a very foundational skill when it came to mixed martial arts. So it kind of awoke me to what the sport had really become. Anderson Silva is definitely on there. Just that highlight reel is unlike anyone else's.
Yeah, some of the best you'll ever see.
What he did to Forrest Griffin was just, my God. Rampage Jackson, and then, God.
I still like BJ Penn.
Yeah, it's really hard to go against BJ Penn just because he was so foundational for me. But anyways.
You really can't go wrong with any of those guys either, man. Those are all guys that are very important to the sport. And it's like, if you grew up in that era of like coming into the sport, those are the guys that would get you into it anyway. You know what I mean? So
I was going to say, I was just happy to hear that because I didn't watch UFC for a long time. I started watching it. My oldest son's dad, my ex, was really into UFC, and what got me in was George St. Pierre. And so when you had him on your Mount Rushmore, I was like, whoa, yay, that's awesome. That makes me feel good because he was my favorite.
There you go.
He's really a lot of people, it's him or John Jones.
Yeah, those like the one, too.
When I see those conversations, I'm always like, GSP, he's the best, but it's good to know that that's actually accurate because I don't really watch UFC like that. So I don't know. I'm just like, he's kicking ass. He's awesome.
I just didn't like him because he kicked Matt Hughes' ass, and he was like one of my favorite fighters. I love that that's where you fucking pick him up and just drop on him. And and for anyone listening, if you have never seen Rampage Jackson powerbomb the dude in K1, you are missing out because that is just devastating. It put it to you this way, it reminds me of CT, something CT would do.
If I can get a hold of it, it'll be playing on the screen right now.
Like
if you're watching on YouTube.
Like literally, this guy is got him. Guy's laying on his back. Rampage is above him. He's going to put him in a triangle, so his legs were going to wrap around his shoulders, and he's holding Rampage's arms against his chest like this. And Rampage literally gets to his feet a little bit and picks him up, not with the hips. It was all back.
Wow.
And lifts him straight up into the air and just slams him down and knocks the dude out cold. It is.
He like slams his head on the back and you just see his arms go out.
Yeah, it is.
Something you can't do anymore.
Yeah, Smokey from Friday. I was like, oh, you just got knocked the fuck out. You know what I mean?
I like it.
So
that's awesome. No, that's cool.
So the other question, that it's mandatory I ask is, tell us how you got into the challenge. What made you a fan of the challenge?
So I would have to say probably got into it through the Real World. I think. So I grew up watching the Real World. I think Austin might have been the season that got me hooked.
Wes.
Nice.
Yeah, like one of the most popular seasons of all time, I'm pretty sure. That season, like watching Danny get one punched on the street, broke his orbital, like that storyline, like really hooked me. And I was like, oh my God, what's going on here? So I got hooked on the Real World, and then obviously just through watching MTV, obviously they had the challenge rollover, and then I just got into it through that way, man. And then obviously I went back, watched all the seasons all the way back from the beginning to now. Yeah, I watch it. That's like one of the only shows that I actually catch live on television these days. Most of them I just wait till they hit streaming the next day or something, but that's one that I always got to catch. So yeah, that's how I got into it. And ever since, I've been hooked ever since then. I'm also like a low-key like reality TV junkie. So any of those shows, those are all my jam, man.
So yeah, I saw your post. Corrina runs 90% of our socials, like, you know, sure. Instagram, TikTok, all that. She basically told me I had to run the Twitter because it's just a lawless land on there. I don't do Twitter. So I saw your post today.
Twitter's a dark place.
I saw your post today and responded back, obviously. But then I scrolled your page real quick. And I saw that you're into reality TV. You're very into movies as well.
Yeah. My Twitter account has basically just become my like letterbox movie review site at this point. Like,
I love it.
I love that.
That's like my like casual place where I just go and post whatever I want. But like it's branded as like an MMA page. But if you scroll my page, it's like reality TV, movies, MMA, basically just anything that's on my mind. I'm just spewing over there.
Oh yeah,
I love it.
100%. I mean, awesome. People always write in and ask her like, "Oh, what other shows do you watch?" And it's like, guys, we watch the same shit as everybody else. We watch horrible reality TV, sports, and then the occasional murder documentaries. I mean, that's really where it's at.
I mean, same. I did get hooked on 60 Days In.
That shit's good.
Wow, I've never seen that show before, and Rick put it on one night, and I've been hooked for like 3 days. I've been binging it, just like. This shit is nuts.
Are you guys Big Brother fans at all? I mean, now that there's crossover into the challenge, were you Big Brother fans at all? Or did you get into Big Brother post challenge? Or have you ever dived into the Big Brother?
Never watched a single episode.
I haven't either.
Yeah, blasphemy.
I tried. I just couldn't do it.
These guys.
I'll give you my reality TV breakdown in a very short version. Start off with Real World. Like the very first season, I remember I was way too young to be watching, but was Frisco, the original San Francisco with Puck and that. And I don't remember much of it, but I remember watching that. Yep. And so I'd see it then, and then I got into Road Rules, and I really liked Road Rules. So watched all the way Semester at Sea, a couple different ones before that, and then Campus Crawl was probably the last one. I really was into Rachel and Darrell. I thought they were really fucking cool. I lived in Vegas at the time. They were filming Real World there, and they then did the matchup where the challenge,
the Stratosphere, where they jumped. Yeah.
So kind of knew about the challenge, was kind of into it, but then I hit like 15, 16, and reality TV was out the door. And then I moved out on my own when I was like 20, and all I had was rabbit ears. And so you watch local channels. So end up one night. On a Wednesday, I turned on CBS and it was Big Brother. And I was like, oh, I'll watch this. There's nothing else on. And it was season 7, which was the All-Stars. Yeah. Yep. So that was my intro with Dr. Will and Mike Boogie, who has gone off the deep end since then. But
my Massachusetts guys, man.
Yeah. Howie, you know, it was just a great season to get into. So I started watching it after that. And, you know, I got really into it, and I got Corrina into it. And it was before Josh was on, but I was like, if you're going to start on any recent season, 19, start with 19. Yeah. Where Paul 19. A comes back with Josh and, who else is on that
that's
one?
why I can't stand Josh to this day, bro.
From Big Brother.
Yeah. Paul's my favorite Big Brother player of all time. So the fact that he lost twice, bro. Yeah. One of them was a Josh, just still hurts me to this day.
I hated Josh for so long after I saw that season. And then when Josh came onto the challenge for probably his first, 3 or 4 seasons, I was like, fuck this guy. Fuck this guy. I hate this guy. He stole that win from Paul. Paul deserved it. I hate this guy. And I was always rooting for Josh to lose. And then I actually met him and interviewed him and talked to him as a real person. And I was like, God damn it, I can't even hate you anymore because you're actually a really good guy.
He seems like he has that effect. I'm sure he's a great guy. He seems like the sweetest dude ever. But I'll never get that out of my mind, man. It's like there's Paul's second season. He came back, played a flawless game again. His first game was solid and he should have won that one, but he lost to Nicole. And the second season come back, plays a completely different game than he played the first time, still doesn't win. You can see him just sinking into his seat as they're reading the votes over, that he knows that he lost to Josh, who he thought was going to be a layup in the final, which it should have been. But that's the thing about Big Brother and Survivor that always kills the argument, where it's it's judged by the people that you vote off. It's not judged by who crossed the finish line first, which I think is the beauty of the challenge, where it's you have to cross the finish line first in order to win. It's not judged by you having to play nice or be fake to people that you vote out, because they're going to determine who gives the money in the end. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, more often than not, Big Brother and Survivor, the person that deserves to win never actually wins.
Absolutely. Well, and we've talked about it before. Like, one of the things that, you know, and I love Big Brother. I like Survivor. I'm not as big of a fan as Survivor. It gets a little bit too repetitive for me, them just kind of being out there, you know. But I do enjoy it. But one of the things that we always talk about that we think is, you know, better about the challenge is that, you know, everything is in your hands. You can't just get voted out. You get sent into an elimination and you have a chance to fight for yourself and save yourself. 100%. And I think that adds a lot to, you know, like the people who actually win and the money that they win from the show. You know, so that's definitely one of the things that I prefer about the challenge over.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
Yeah. That was 19 was the season I really understood that jury management really mattered.
Yeah, dude. I hate the concept of jury management, man.
Josh played it well. You know, I hate to say, but he especially talking to him post about it, really interesting. I know, Katie, this is all great.
Oh, it's okay.
Katie's just zoning out. She's like,
I understand how you feel when we start talking about Taylor. That's this whole time. I'm like, I'm sorry, guys. I'm failing you. I'm just here. I'm here. I'm just happy to be here.
Last thing I'll say about Big Brother, and you'll relate to this, Katie.
No, you're good. Don't worry about me.
Outside of Paul, I think one of the greatest Big Brother players to not win from recent seasons would actually be from 23, Tiffany Mitchell.
Ooh, Tiffany. I loved her.
Like, her social gameplay was something else. The first.
She got screwed. And look,
she would have won if she made the final, 100%.
Yeah.
And props to Xavier for seeing that. You know what I mean? Like, you have to give him credit for recognizing that and making that first shot. But she deserved that win, man. Yeah. She deserved to at least be in the final. Like,
well, they all knew it, because as soon as it got to those final 6, they're like, all right, Tiffany.
She's got to go because she'll win.
100%.
Yeah, she's awesome, though.
So, all right, knowing that, let's hear your Mount Rushmore. So we do break it down by men and women. So you're 4 women, 4 men.
Women first. I'll go Cara.
Nice.
Then I'll go Laurel 2, Evelyn 3, and then I'll take Tori 4.
Oh, I like that.
I think Tori's going to get higher up on the Mount Rushmore as her seasons go on, for sure. She's got the momentum swing. She's going to be closer to 1 or 2, I think, fairly soon.
I think they said it in this episode. I think Tori is, I don't want to say the new Cara, but they are very similar, and not just in personalities, but stats as well. They are very similar.
Very similar.
And it's crazy when you see them side by side too, because Cara has like a lot of like lean muscle on her. So when you see her solo, you think she's like a pretty big girl. And then when she's standing next to Tori, you're like, oh man, she's way smaller than you would think she is.
Yeah. Tori's massive though. Like, I don't want to say massive. That's I guess could come
she's
off
like she's got a physical stature for sure.
Yeah. Well, and Tori's also very tall. You know what I mean? And then she's got that muscle build, you know, and she's, you could definitely see the size difference. I was like, wow, because I thought they were a lot closer in size too, but there's a big difference there.
Look, I love you, but she could work me over anytime. Look, that out.
I love me, but she could work you over anytime.
That's love right there.
If you're hearing this, which you never will,
Tori, hit the line. Hit the DMs, girl.
All right, for the men, who you got?
Man, my number 1, I got to go Bananas.
Okay.
CT, Jordan.
This fourth one's always very
The fourth one's always the hardest one, but I'm going to go with Darrell 4.
Ooh.
I like it.
Yeah,
I can respect that.
4. Obviously, there's a lot of flip-flop there at 4, but I always stick with Darrell.
All right, Darrell, Wes, Derek.
Yeah, you can go with any of those guys. I would never argue against it.
I've said it many times on this podcast. It depends on what day you ask me is what answer you're going to get. Because some days it's Darrell, some days it's Wes, some days it's Derek.
Yeah, like my top 3 always stays the same, but that fourth one it jumps around and varies a little bit.
Yeah, and Jordan's on the same wavelength for me as like Tori is. Like, Jordan is more than not going to be up there in the 1-2 conversation. Like, by the end of by the time everybody's retired and done, I think Jordan's in that 1-2 conversation at the end of the day.
I think it's a very good analogy to say that Bananas could very well be Tom Brady, but Jordan's
Patrick Mahomes.
Jordan's baby goat. You know,
look at that big circle.
Full circle, guys.
The only bad part about that is now you got to leave the entire front part of the conversation in so everybody understands the full circle.
It's all right. Fuck it. We'll get there. It's not like they haven't heard us say worse shit. I'm just going to be honest.
Yeah, that's wrong.
So, okay. Before we dive into this, I'll give us a lead into the actual show by asking the 30,000 foot view. What grade are you guys giving this episode?
Who's going first? You want me to go first?
Yeah, go first. Yeah, go for it.
I'm giving this episode an A. I don't care. I know people out there, and honestly, I'm going to say I'm actually really shocked because the initial reaction from the fandom seemed to be like, this episode was amazing. But then tonight on the live, and then seeing some comments and stuff today, people aren't as happy with it as they were on Wednesday. And I'm not sure where that disconnect came from. I loved this episode. This episode, like, it was just really good. I loved the daily. I loved the elimination. I liked the club seat. Like, I liked all the stuff that was included. I literally experienced almost every single emotion throughout this episode. I was angry. I was sad. I cried. I smiled. I laughed. I was angry again, excited again. Like, it was literally a roller coaster of emotions for me. And if an episode can take me on that ride, I gotta give it an A.
I like it. What about you, Chris?
I would give it probably a B. And my only reason why it's a B and not an A is because everything was set up perfectly. I love the elimination. I just wish that the elimination wasn't just an absolute dusting. You know what I mean? Like, Corey just put belt to ass on Josh for all four, skunked him 4-0. And, you know, with the way that elimination was set up, I wish that it was more competitive and more of a grind. If that was like an actual true headbanger where it was actually a grind in the sand, like it could have been, I would have given it an A.
I can respect that. Yeah,
you know, somebody had said, because I had said, I don't know who could have really like competed or beat Corey in that. And somebody said it would have been fun to see Jordan down there with him. And I was like, ooh, that actually probably would have been a really good game.
To be honest,
he would have had some great strat.
I don't think Jordan would be fast enough. I think Theo and
Theo would be interesting.
Theo would be interesting, but I think a really interesting one would be Corey Horacio in this one.
Ooh, Horacio would be interesting. Maybe Kai. I don't know how fast Kylan is. I don't know if Kylan's fast.
I still think Corey bodies him.
But Kylan would have had some kind of strategy, though.
Yeah. And that's how I feel about Jordan. He might have lost in the, you know, the one where you have to run, you know, or whatever. But I just feel like Jordan would have had some sort of like strategy to get over those hay bales and make sure he gets that person out to at least put some competition in the game.
I wouldn't be surprised if we learned Jordan knew how to do parkour and like hit the two hands and just throwing himself over it, honestly.
Parkour.
Yeah.
Parkour.
Katie, what grade do you want to give this episode?
I'm going A as well because it's exactly the same as Corrina. All of the emotions. I cried so many fucking times watching this episode. I was like, am I just extra emotional or what's going on? But I'm already going to shout out Derek because, my heart, I might cry when we talk about it later. I'm so fucking proud of him.
Dude.
And just, it made my heart so happy for him. But everything from the daily to the elimination, I loved it all. Like, all the funny parts that we got a Carl. We got a Carl up in there.
Oh my God.
Just,
shout out
this
Carl.
is the shit. Yes, shout out Carl. This is the fucking shit we want to see. I want to see them having fun.
Yes.
You see how they had like Carl in the subtitles when she was talking?
Even in my notes, I called her Carl.
And that's like the best thing too, because you know that they had to go in and change, like they had to set that.
Oh, they went
to
full
say
send.
Carl. Yeah, they
went full send.
I love it. I love it so much.
Josh, what are you giving it?
I give it an A for all the same reasons. It was an emotional ride too, because I mean, I was there supporting Derek. I mean, I already sent him a message, said congrats on that huge win. Can't wait to talk about you tonight.
Yes.
But yeah, dude, I loved everything about it. The best part was we're seeing our boy on that video call That was Nelly T is where I started crying all over the place. So yeah, I love this episode.
Fucking shattered my heart to see them talk.
Loved it.
Look, I didn't really think of it this way, but once you said that, Chris, about the elimination being so one-sided, I'm gonna go A-. If that's a
there you go.
If that's a headbanger, we get a 3-4 or even a 2-4 score.
Yeah.
Then definitely A+, because
that's fair.
To me, everything else was on point. The daily was sick. It was not only cool for them to do, but it was cool for us to watch.
It was so fun to watch.
It was fun to watch. This one was fun. Yeah.
The elimination, I've said this almost on every single thing on social media, is this needs to be a mainstay. Like this elimination needs to stay.
Yeah.
It's literally a football drill.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and that was when we saw it, I was like, oh, Corey, this is literally a football drill. Corey is going to smash.
Oh, yeah.
But I actually, so I'm not like super trendy online or anything like that, but
Demure.
You're not a chill guy.
How do you actually say
Demure?
What did I say on my video?
I don't know, but it was.
I don't remember, but I loved it.
Something.
Just keep saying it how you're saying it. Just
demure. That's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. So I'm not very trendy, but you know how people like write a comment and then they'll put like the little arrow things to like this comment if you agree with it.
That.
I did that on the actual challenge page when they shared the elimination. I was like, this elimination should be on every single season. And then I put a bunch of those little bracket
things. The only
things.
person that had more likes was CT's comment.
I know, right? But I had like a bunch of the challengers all liking it too. So I was like, see, they agree. Like they even liked this one. So
yeah,
it needs to be a mainstay. I would love to see this one come back and be played again. Like you said, maybe with more competitive players.
You know who actually I don't know how this is going to get received, but I'm going to say it. I wonder how Bananas and Corey would have done on this one. Because Bananas
would not have.
He's good at dumb shit.
Bananas is quick though. Like he's fast.
I don't think he would have been fast enough.
Yeah, Corey is like different level fast. I feel like
he is built different.
Look, I'm going to be honest.
As a freak.
I'm sorry.
I don't know this for a fact, but I'm willing to bet, like, if I fucking DM'd him, he would get back to me within a couple hours or tomorrow. But I think Corey runs like a sub 4.9 40. Yeah. He's fucking quick.
I think fast. Maybe just because because the thing with Bananas is that, and we've talked about this many, many times, is that, as we all know, Bananas is just good at dumb shit, and we don't even know how or why. So I feel like he may have been able to pull out like 1 point, get over those hay bales and tackle Corey out right before he hits the bell kind of thing. But yeah, I still think it goes to Corey. He's just so fast. Like Corey's just fast. And this elimination was built for him. Like we said, this was a standard football drill.
Yeah, you could have easily gotten Bananas out with this one, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, baby. Sorry.
With the baby puppies.
Leave me alone.
I was to say, is that the one we're hearing whine in the background?
Yes.
I was wondering whose dog it was. I thought it was Ahsoka. I'm like, Norma?
No, she's down here snipping at me, and I'm like,
I actually don't even know where Ahsoka is, right? Yeah.
Ahsoka's a fire name, by the way. I love that name.
Thank you.
Look, Star Wars fan.
It's not the only thing in this house named after a Star Wars character.
Our son is named Luke, and our dog is named Ahsoka. So
I love that. That's fire.
I tried. So here's my rule: is you either find a dope ass name for an animal, or you have to give them the most human name possible.
Yeah, it's
so,
one
like
or
Greg,
the other.
Right?
Yeah.
Like Carl.
Carl, like
it's different though, because but his name is with a C, Carl, not a K.
Yeah.
So the next dog we're gonna get is Steven with a PH.
I like Kevin too. I like Kevin for a
very
dog.
demure.
Kevin reminds me of Up.
Yes.
Very much. Yes. 100%.
Yeah.
That's where my squirrel came from.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, no.
I get to use my favorite word outside of Gus, which is we digress. So,
with that being said,
let's go ahead and let's get this show on the road and get into this episode. What do you guys think?
Would you say we're going to swing into it?
He's so disappointed in you right now.
I'm going to be honest, Katie. You were riding high because Corrina showed me the video of your first time on, where you asked if how I felt about Taylor putting Travis on the map and all that. And I remember how big of a trend that was. And I was like, he was a fucking all-pro tight end.
What are we doing here?
Yeah. But he is a lot more famous now. I will give you that.
Oh my God. I totally forgot that even happened till you sent me that little video. And I was like,
I was shocked it was on my time hop today. I was like, that's convenient.
I was like, this is literally the moment Rick and I looked at each other and we were like, we want her on our team on the podcast. We need her here.
Bring her back every week.
Bring her back every week.
Thanks, guys. Thanks.
And then we met you in Detroit and I was like, how are we going to get her off?
We can't get rid of her.
You're
stuck with me forever.
All right. So since we're waiting for Josh to come back, who is your favorite challenger, Chris?
I'm like, my answers for these questions are boring because my favorite all time is Kara. Like, regardless of gender, I'm a big Kara stan.
Okay, quick question: can Kara do no wrong in your eyes, or you just really like her? Okay,
no, War of the Worlds Kara is not favorable. Kara.
Okay, thank you.
These are the Kara fans we love.
I get it.
I was like, oh no! I think I'm not feeling good, guys. I gotta go.
I'm not one of those crazy Kara fans that has like a alternate Twitter account that just goes on there and defends her till the fucking moon comes up. You know what I mean? But I do love her. She's my number one favorite all time. And then I love Bananas. As far as like OGs, I love like Alton used to be one of my favorites. Landon.
Yeah.
I love Bananas like post Kenny and Evan. Before that, it was just kind of boring, like the trio just kind of running everything. But yeah, that's typically where I stand on favorites. New school, I'm having a hard time finding some like new school favorites though. Do you guys have any that you love from like era 4 generation? The only one that I can really latch onto is like Horacio, but I don't know if he's ever coming back.
He is.
I'm getting better on Kylan. Like, I wouldn't go so far to say he's one of my favorites, but I think he could be a long-term player in this game and someone I can find myself rooting for.
Yeah.
In the newer school, I'm a big Jordan fan. I just really
era
like
3,
Jordan.
yeah.
Jordan, yeah. He said era 4. Come on.
I forget that he's like considered newer school.
Newer. I mean, look, if he gets the call and accepts, Xavier Prather. If he gets on this fucking show,
Xavier
I'd be a fan right away. But no, probably Kylan Horacio are the guys I lean towards.
Yeah.
Corey
Lay's good.
He makes great TV.
Yes.
Look, as far as Josh, what'd you do to your audio? Because something's different now.
Oh, is it?
It was, yeah. Like I was catching echo. Sorry.
Echo. No, I don't know.
You're good.
I'm seeing 2 of you now. Weird. I know a lot of people don't like him after 39.
Extracurriculars.
Yeah, that's probably what it is, honestly. Because what he did on 39, but I think Jay is great for the challenge.
Oh, just
great TV. He was one of my favorite players on Survivor, man. His Survivor season was so good. Challenge Jay is just not for me. But I respect
and that's
him.
fair.
And he makes great TV, so I can't be mad about him being on.
And that's the thing is, to me, he plays a Survivor villain on the challenge, and I'm okay with that. That doesn't. We need those guys on there.
We need villains. We do.
Yeah,
we really do.
All right. Well, do we have anything from Kara on here?
I'm not sure.
Showing your fucking cards really early in this podcast.
Oh, don't be like that. Most of the stuff on our thing is from earlier seasons.
I know, right here.
TJ has heard the calls of the challenge fandom.
Podcast.
Perfect.
All right, let's get this show on the road. I thought we had
I do need to get more Kara stuff on there. I just gotta like
it's yelling, cousin.
It's hard because it's like I have to like try to think about specific moments that people said specific funny things. What season did it come from? What episode did it? You know what I mean? And it's like it's so hard unless it's like a top iconic line where you just know. CT said, "I'll smash his head and eat it on Duel 2." Like you just know that. You know what I mean? So it's hard, but I'll have to try to find some other Kara ones. She's had some good ones this season that I'll probably add on after.
Oh
40.
yeah, no, she did have good ones.
Yeah.
We could use Star Maria.
Oh my God, no. I will never get on board with Star Maria. I'm so sorry. I will get on board. Yeah, I will get on board with Cara Clutch Maria, but the Stara Maria, I don't know why. Yeah, I just the Stara Maria
too.
Yeah, Karma Maria. I like Karma Maria, you know, but the Stara Maria, I don't know why. It just doesn't feel like Cara. It feels like a little princess or something, and I'm like, no, I don't like it. That doesn't fit.
Okay, real quick, just gonna double check.
How many times have you said real quick?
A lot. I'm high.
Okay.
Just full disclosure, I'm violently stoned right now.
Okay. I'm already out of
Violently?
Well, go get some coffee and then I'll do the intro, okay?
You talk for a second.
All right.
You talk for a second.
How are you feeling about the Cara Tori friendship?
I love it. I love seeing them like actually be friends, but I think that's more of a format thing than it is actually like the format lends themselves to actually like being nice to each other and working together. You know what I mean?
You don't think it'll build on after this?
I hope so. I would love to see them actually like play together for once. I know they did like back in Dirty 30, I think they played together a little bit.
They did that in Final Reckoning, but Tori just wasn't there long enough.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, it would be nice because it's nice when like the powerhouse women actually work together versus like working against each other. Mm-hmm. That seems to be the theme through most seasons. So it's nice to see them actually like get along this season. It's been fun to see.
Yeah, I was going to say for a while there, being a Tory fan and then, you know, trying to... What the fuck just happened? Did you just spit coffee all over me? Holy fuck, it's like the plague over here.
No, that looks like poop, dude.
Yeah.
Good Lord, I look down and there's just coffee, like blood splatter all over the fucking table.
Her laugh in the background. This is why we can't have nice things.
It kind of reminds me like when we were talking to Polly and you got Cara in the background just saying, shh, don't say that. Don't say that. Don't worry, we weren't recording at that time.
I have to clean up your spit?
It's on you. Oh.
No, it's all over the fucking table.
Tonight's recording may be postponed.
This is why our laptop doesn't fucking work, and we had to get an extended or a remote keyboard for it because she spilled coffee all over it.
Oops!
I literally was choking to death, dying right next to you. You
didn't even try to save her?
So unaware of everything around you.
What am I going to do? Give you the Heimlich for coffee? I mean, probably, but I'm not. I'm not trained to do that.
He's not that kind of husband.
Sorry, guys. I got a cold earlier. Yeah, I got a cold earlier this week, and I still have a little bit of the cough.
A little tickle.
And I was like taking a drink, and the cough came, and it all happened at one time, and then I started choking, and I had no choice but to out. It needed to go out of my mouth. I'm sorry. Okay, let's go.
Get it together, people. We're professionals.
No, we're not.
I know.
Absolutely.
I'm a mess today.
All right, okay. But I do want to get this show started because I don't want to keep Chris on here till 3
for
in the morning.
fucking 4 hours.
Hey,
Yeah.
Well, we're only 45 minutes in.
Yeah, man, I'm locked in.
Yeah. All right. Chris DiCarlo, caged in. I got this.
Sir.
You're going to mess it up.
Boot Josh for the fucking movie.
Blocked from the studio.
Oh, shit. Sorry, I was watching that video of Horacio running in slow motion.
Oh my God, that video was hilarious,
Yeah, that
by
was
the way.
good, Zach.
I love that.
Shout out to Zach for that one.
Oh, that was good.
Welcome to the Challenge Fandom Podcast. My name's Rick Hayes. I've got my beautiful wife, Corrina Hayes. We've got Katie Badblood Pahura, Josh motherfucking Chambers, and then we've got a very, very special guest tonight. We've got from the Caged In podcast, Chris DiCarlo. Chris, thank you so much for coming and joining us.
Hey, thank you guys for having me, man. I appreciate it. It's going to be a lot of fun.
It is, man. And you know what? I know we were supposed to do this last week and the episode didn't really lend itself to what we wanted to kind of get into with you.
Yeah.
And the challenge gods graced us with a really good episode for us to break down with you. And I'm super excited to do that. And let's get into it. It's episode 14, The Swinging Era, brought to you by Cara Maria.
I was going to say, did they really think about this title before they...
I don't think they thought of a lot of things.
They should have just done
this episode, which
the swinging area upside down pineapple emoji. That's just, let's just call it that.
there was another title that will come later that I was I giggle.
There was one. There's a title later that I was actually disappointed in. We'll get into that.
We'll get
foreshadowing for you right there. So, Chris, just in case people didn't hear, we're going to have everything about your podcast linked below. But just give the people one more real quick breakdown on what it's all about so they know what they're getting themselves into.
For sure, man. So my podcast is called Caged In with Chris DiCarlo. Basically, what I do is I interview MMA fighters from every level of the sport, 0 and 0 amateurs making their first walk to the cage, all the way up to, UFC veterans that are fighting on the big stage. And basically my job is to just interview them before they have big fights coming up so they can help promote whatever they have going on and also give them an avenue to where they can talk about their life and the things that they love outside of fighting.
I love it, man. That's awesome. Man, I know we talked about earlier, very similar to kind of why we wanted to do this podcast in the first place is to give people a beyond the edit view of challengers. And it sounds like basically what you're saying is it's a beyond the ring interview of the MMA fighters.
I like that. Beyond the ring. That's nice. Yeah.
Beyond the cage, caged in. I'm brainstorming now. Now it's just thought bubbles going.
Wow. I can just see it. Just coming through. Yeah.
See, that's what happens when you do marketing for 10 years. It just happens.
It just starts happening. Yeah. No. It's constant.
I mean, you can by doing what I do in the garage, but that's a different story. Let's get into the opening of this episode, because look, like we said in the intro, most of us have this as a top rated episode thus far this season. Not to say something's not going to outdo it, but so far, I think this is the best episode we've gotten. One of the best of this season. Yeah. I mean, I thinking back, I really loved the Night of Eliminations thing. There were a couple really good episodes, but this one is definitely up there in my opinion.
No, yeah, I was going to say, I agree, man, 100%. But other than like maybe the very first episode where everybody's coming in and you had the invitational and everything, I think this one is definitely right up there with one of the best for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, I forget about episode 1 just because it was so far back now. These seasons seem like they get a little bit longer every year, but that's true. That was a great episode. What I did like about this one was that opening scene. You know me with those photos.
So nostalgic, the nostalgia.
Yeah. I know you really love those. My question was why this one? I didn't understand the relation, right? Because normally the scene that they show in those opening, where there's like the picture on the wall and then they zoom in and show you the scene. Normally it's in relation to something that happens in the episode. So I don't know if this was just like they showed Hunter because of Corey and Nelson were on the episode, highlighted on the episode. So it was like rounding out the TYB, or I just didn't understand what the Hunter thing.
Eliminating your friend.
Or Corey and Josh.
Corey and Josh, friends going against each other, maybe.
Yep, that's what it was. That's how I took it.
Yeah, in the package too, Hunter talked about like coming up short. And like that seems to be a theme for Josh as well, where he's always coming up short. He can't get to the final. That's how I kind of took it, but I don't know. Yeah, I got that on rewatch, but on first watch, I didn't pick up the correlation either.
See, and I think that's actually a really good point, because I think for me, and because like we've always just known them as like a group, the three of them together, is when I see Corey or Nelson or Hunter, I always associate them with each other. So I didn't even think about how this would associate with Josh. I didn't even. So I'm glad you said that.
Yeah. On the initial, I was like, who's Corey really close with in this house going to go against? And I was like, there's no one. And then now that you say that does...
It makes sense.
It makes sense. I think I was just holding on to those earlier fights that Josh and Corey had gotten into previously in the season. Speaking of Josh, and everybody listening and, knows I'm a fan of Josh. I like Josh because naturally I kind of root for the underdog, and that's who Josh has always been on this seat, on the challenge. And he has done well of kind of not necessarily under the radar, but using his friendships, his alliances to protect him throughout this game.
I think it's his best flagship season.
Agreed.
I would have agreed with you until it's revealed in this conversation that he told Michele that you can put me in, you can make me a target. And it breaks rule fucking number 1, which is you never nominate yourself to go in.
Yeah.
Because you're going to go home.
Yeah.
That's true.
That's valid.
But he's getting picked anyway.
That's fine, but you don't nominate yourself.
You don't be vocal about being okay with it. And I see that point. You know, I see you don't make it okay for people to do that to you. Regardless of whether you understand why they're doing it, you still don't give that stamp of approval. So, I mean, I get it. I don't, you know.
All right. So to me, what it is it's ego, right? Josh feels like he has something to prove. And I get that, like, there's a lot of naysayers. His elimination record isn't great, but his time in game is really good, which tells me social is a notch above a lot of people there. So double down on your fucking social and get yourself to that final, even if it means looking at Bananas and saying, dude, you want me in that final to help you win.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's what. Oh, never mind. We'll get into that later.
So, but he needs to play that with other people, I would say, as well.
Yeah.
It's just, it was disappointing to see because I want to see Josh make a final because I think if he gets in there, he might be able to shake it up a little bit.
He might be able to, you know, I mean, it really depends on what kind of final it is. I know everybody is, you know, very apt to just jump to Josh can never win a final. But I think it depends on what kind of final it is, you know, and what aspects are in there. You know, we know Josh has really good endurance and he's smart. So, you know what I mean? As long as there's nothing like super crazy. I can't remember if he's like a good swimmer and little things like that.
Serviceable.
You know, but as long as like, you know, and I'm not saying like if he goes into a final against like any of the like the greats. But would he have maybe had a chance of placing like second on, you know, 39 Battle for a New Champion? I think he might have done all right in that. You know, and in that type of a final. But it's also not something I'm going to bet on. So, you know, that's where it kind of gets interesting. But one thing that stood out to me in this conversation when he was talking to Bananas and, you know, Bananas was like, dude, why the fuck did you tell Michele that it was okay to put you in? That was stupid. You know, now you've put us up against each other as targets and what the hell? Josh had, I think it was a confessional. I don't think he said this live he did say it live to like Michele and Banana. Okay. So he's talking about how, you know, he's been avoiding elimination all season and, you know, trying to avoid elimination is something he normally does, but now he's ready to go in. And looking at it from the outside for me, I would prefer to like go into an elimination, like prove myself earlier in the season. I'm not going to want to go against the people that are there towards the end because most of the time those are some of the best players. So I'm curious how you guys see the situation. Would you guys rather, you know, try to get like, and not to say that you can't still get put in later in the season, but a lot of times, you know, and we've seen it be talked about where people are like, oh, well, this person's already gone in twice. This person's already gone in 3 times. I don't want to send them in again. So would you want to do your elimination earlier in the season, maybe 1 or 2 earlier in the season? Or would you rather do like one big one against a heavy hitter at the end of the season?
Yeah, I would want to go in earlier. I feel like there's a bigger, you know, pool of people to choose from. A lot of times people get to like have some say on who they go up against in elimination. And when like the quote unquote weaker players are still there in the beginning, you can kind of use those guys as like your prove yourself moment in the first couple. And then later on in the season, it's like, hey, don't send him in. He's been in already a couple times, but you've already been in earlier in the year against, you know, weaker players. So that's where that's the route that I would take probably, rather than going against someone who stuck around the entire game and is tougher to beat.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. I think from a strategy point of view, like if I had to choose, you either going in the beginning or you going in the end, because obviously not going in is the best.
Well, yeah, of course.
I would much rather go in the beginning because the odds of you going against someone that's quote unquote a layup, quote unquote, not as athletic as some is in the earlier parts. Usually there's only 1 or 2 of those people that make it towards the end point of the season.
Right. Yeah.
So that's kind of my view on it.
I know for me too, like I would just want to rip the Band-Aid off. Like I don't think I could just sit there like anxiously waiting the whole time, like wondering like
who you're going to end up going against.
Who's it going to be? When's
it going to be
time?
Jordan? Oh my
exactly.
God. Exactly. Kill me now.
Put me in.
Or, get all the way towards the end and then all of a sudden go into elimination and go home.
Yeah.
Pulling Anissa.
That too.
Every single season, you know?
And I don't know. I can't put it in, I can't put it in a way that's
doesn't make you sound like a dick.
Yeah. That's which is the norm. Just putting that out there.
Same, not like the listeners are used to it.
I mean, I'm just so disappointed in Josh. Like, why self-nominate? It's such a bad move.
It was,
in my personal opinion. And because who knows, maybe you play that relationship with her and say after the fight, like, Michele, I'm really sorry. I get how you were feeling because Bananas winning makes you go in. And I know you understand he's my friend, blah, 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 blah. But without any doubt, I'm here for you. I want you in this game, blah, blah, blah. Right. And you might work your way into a situation where you're not a fucking target.
Right.
So that's
possibly.
Nothing's guaranteed, but
I did just think of something, which I don't feel this way, but it's a thought that popped into my brain. Do we think Josh maybe wanted to go home or was getting ready to?
I don't think Josh wanted to go home. I honestly think that I can't remember if it was Kylan or Jordan or Bananas. It was one of the challengers who were like giving Josh props because Josh got a lot of props from fellow challengers this episode. But one of them was like, Josh has put in a lot of time, getting his body in shape, becoming a little bit better, a little bit more competitive. And this is his stage, right? This is his ring. This is his octagon, if you want to say, to prove himself and to prove what the work that he's put in and see how far it'll carry him. And I think that maybe that might have been where Josh's head was. I don't think that he expected to go in against Corey in a literal football drill that was designed for people like Corey.
Race is really all it was.
And, but I don't think that he wanted to go home. I think he just really wanted an opportunity to prove himself and saw it as a good opportunity because I think he looked at himself and Corey as, pretty even as far as like size and stuff like that. I just don't think he thought that they would be freaking racing.
So I remember what I was going to say, and this is to Josh's credit as well, because in a situation of the cast being as stacked as it is in season 40, there is really no layups at any point in this season. I mean, Katie, all the people that you would say, oh, they're the layup of this season aren't layups in any other season. Like Katie's not a layup.
Right.
Thanks, guys.
Amanda kind of is.
Amanda's a layup.
Amanda is, but
see, Amanda is my Josh. I will never forgive. I will never let go of the hatred that lives inside of me for her as a challenger, not as a person. I'm sure she's lovely as a person, but she's my Josh on the challenge.
There you go. Everybody's got their own Josh.
Yeah. They do. Everybody has their Josh,
So kind of moving it along, one of the scenes I loved in this intro was Corey and Tori studying all the seasons.
That was awesome.
And the fact that Corey had it, I was like, dude, fucking let's go.
I loved it. And honestly, this brings me to a question I'm really excited to get your guys' opinions on. And all the listeners out there, if you guys want to comment your opinions or write in, DM us on Instagram, whatever, I would love to get everybody's opinion on this because I think it's a really interesting topic. After they run through the seasons and they, quiz each other, whatever, Tori was like, dude, how crazy would it be if you got your first win on season 40? And it got me thinking, a season this iconic with this iconic of a cast, regardless of who wins, does a win on this type of iconic season have more weight to it for you than, let's say, like a season 39 or like a season 31 or whatever that Vendettas was in Final Reckoning? Yeah. Whatever. Does a season this iconic have, like, the win on a season this iconic have more weight than just a regular season?
I think it does, just based on the fact, like, if you look at other iconic seasons, like
30, 20.
Well, free agents.
Free agents, 25.
Yeah, like
Yes.
Laurel gets a lot of the GOAT conversation because of free agents.
That's
you
true.
know, Jordan kind of cemented his legacy winning Dirty 30, you know, in my opinion.
That's true.
So
Yeah.
I think it does. If we're like breaking it down, like who's the best and they have a season 40 win on it, I think you have to weigh it a little bit more.
Right. So
Yeah.
like, for example, you know, and forgetting about the time, because I know that we very much look at win percentages as far as how many seasons you've done, how long it took you to get those wins, et cetera, et cetera. But if we're just looking at numbers, okay, and let's say by some weird, stupid chance, like Jordan win and he got 5 wins, and then you're looking at CT and he's got 5 wins. Like so does Jordan's season 40 win and season 30 win have more weight than like CT's Rivals 2 win and CT's Spies? You know what I mean? Like, I'm just curious, like how you would separate those two if you've got 2 male GOATs that both have 5 wins, or let's say like some crazy chance Tori goes to the final, she wins, gets her 2nd win, and now her and Cara both have 2 wins, and Laurel has 2 wins, and Rachel has 2 wins. Like, how do you separate and, you know, like how do you categorize those?
Well, I'd put it above it only because, like, especially on the female side, all those females are on this season.
Mm-hmm.
And if Tori goes and wins this and matches them, in my eyes, that puts her ahead because she beat them all head to head.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Does it matter to you if those people are in the final of running against her?
No.
Because does the weight of 40 and how you win based on who's in the final against you have any factor on how you weight 40, or is it just because it's 40?
I mean, if you look at who's there right now, it's still heavy hitters.
Of course.
So,
just curious.
Yeah, I just look at it like that. They're there. I mean, you had Laurel hurts herself this season too. But yeah, I say if Tori does win this season, it puts her just a notch above in my eyes.
That's fair. Yeah.
I think that's a really interesting point that you bring up, Chris, in the fact that, do you consider it more weighted by who's in the final or the fact that who was just on the season? Because
who they beat through the season.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I've never thought of it like that way.
Yeah. Because if Emily were still there.
Yeah.
Season's different.
That's interesting.
And because like Tori hasn't had to go into elimination yet. She's not single-handedly eliminating. Obviously, she's positioning herself great based on her social game. And if she gets to a final and she's running against, you know, not Cara and not Laurel and not Emily, and, you know, the other girls are getting in the final and not Rachel, and it's at Tori versus, you know,
it's like Tori, Aviv.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, does that, I'm curious of if like just being the champion of 40 weighs more, or is it like who you beat to get the 40 title?
I gotcha. That's a really good point.
You're looking at who's there for her to beat in the final, and with her not going down into an elimination, but you're not taking into effect of her winning every single daily not to go into an elimination.
I'm just playing devil's advocate here. I'm not disagreeing with you at all.
That's always on. That's why I asked the question.
I'm just throwing it from different sides.
If I'm forced to give a definitive answer, I would base it more on who they've had to go against in the season, right? Because to me, Bloodlines isn't discredited for Cara as much because of who she went against in the final. It's based on the format of the show and the final itself. Because to me, she still beat Bananas. You know, she still beat all these other people who were on that season. And for instance, you know, let's say Kylan goes on to win this, or Derek goes on to win this season.
I would love that.
I can't sit here and, you know, be like, oh, well, it doesn't mean much because CT went out in episode 6. No, he still beat CT.
Right. You know, outlasted him. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
So that's how I would give the answer. With that being said, I still keep team seasons weighted extremely low.
And that's what I was going to say is that, like, for me, I still don't even know obviously I don't know the format of how the final is ran, whether it is literally going to be individual, which to me, like, regardless, I don't want to say regardless of who's in the final, because I do still put weight on the difficulty of who you're racing in that final. But, you know, I put a lot more weight with individuals, and then I put, you know, and then partner wins, partner finals are next. And then team seasons are like, you know, kind of team wins are kind of down there at the bottom for me. So, yeah, I mean, that's a really good point. I think it's going to be really interesting to see who makes this final, because everybody who's left is really good in one way or the other. You know, I mean, we've got Michele, who can't seem to place well in a daily, but she is just
still
taking
there.
people out like left and right. So it's like
what, 3-0?
Yeah.
She's 3-0 now. And you know, it's for me, it's one of those things where it's like we've seen players like this on the challenge where they're not very good in dailies, but they kick ass in eliminations. So, you know, it's just going to be really interesting to see how all the pieces fall.
Yeah.
I'm excited for it, honestly.
Agreed. I thought it was very, very cool that, all right, so I've got a theory. Look, you know, someone's really good at a strategy game when you get a scene of them sitting there and explaining it all with chess pieces.
I loved this so much.
And look, I'm going to go back to what I said earlier, kind of bringing it back full circle. You know who did that in Big Brother? Tiffany.
Tiffany did it in Big Brother.
How the Cookout Alliance, South Alliance.
Michele did it with Rocks on Survivor.
Yep.
And how, you know, like, and that was why Jay flipped on her and got her out to start with. And that's what got me. That is what hooked me on Survivor, was that season with Jay and Michele.
Well, did it with her notebook.
And seeing that move. So
not the same, bro. Not the same. It's got to be chess or rocks.
People on Big Brother don't play chess like for real on Big Brother, because they're afraid if they play chess like legit and like they show that they're actually good at chess, they're like, oh, they're a good strategist. Like we can't have them in the game anymore.
Yeah.
So a lot of people that are playing chess are like playing fake chess. I mean,
right. That's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of bluffing. And to me, look, these two women are the shining stars of this season in their social game, in their strategy. Nobody is playing a better game. And I could make an argument that this is probably the best game I've seen played in about 4 or 5 seasons.
I agree.
Ooh.
Well, and I know you still haven't quite said it. He's obviously talking about Tori and Rachel sitting there playing, you know. And what was so funny to me about this situation is it was like, they were literally there telling each other exactly who they're working with, exactly who their alliances are, knowing that they're working against each other and on complete different sides of the house. But there was no like tension or aggression or animosity or anything. It was literally, they were just having fun. And, you know, Tori learning that like Corey was a shared, person between them. There was no, it was just, I loved the whole vibe of this. I love these kind of players. I love when players can go head to head with each other, but not make it nasty, not make it dirty. Just, hey, I hope we're in the final and we're racing against each other and we can settle it there to see who's the better woman or whatever they said. I love that. It's like that respect, right? That respectful competition. And I hate to use the word sportsmanship because it just feels so but it is. It's good sportsmanship, you know, but camaraderie, there's respect there, and I really loved this scene so much.
Did you guys see the deleted scene?
I didn't.
I sent it to you. You're gonna have to watch it later.
Okay. Yeah, because I don't know if that took place before or after. I'm assuming it took place before this chess game.
Okay,
I don't know.
Right? I don't know.
It could have been last week. Honestly, it's edited.
That's true.
Who knows?
Yeah. Who fucking knows when it happened?
It's a good scene, though. Yeah.
I'll have to go check it out when we get off. Yeah.
I do have a question for you guys involving these two women. And Chris, I want your opinion on this.
Sure.
If we put, let's say, 2 women in the final and it was Rachel and Tori, who are you picking?
Who am I picking to win?
Yeah. Rachel and Tori.
I'm going Tori.
Okay.
I like that.
I think she's more well-rounded, to be honest.
Okay.
I have a hard time not arguing, or I have a hard time arguing against that. Sorry, violently high. Remember that. Josh, who you got? Tori or Rachel in the final?
Oh, dude, it's so hard to pick either one of them because, I mean, Rachel can do it all. Tori can do it all.
They can.
I'm gonna have to give the edge to Tori, though.
Look at this. Your teenage boy crush, your adult man crush. They're just being besties in the house right now. How you feel about that? Are you loving it?
Yeah, Rick.
Oh, and please don't.
Yeah, Rick. What are you gonna do? I feel like this is the equivalent of my Jordan and bananas.
Yeah, there you go.
Like, Oh no. A few moments later. Secrets don't make friends.
Oh my God, you're so bad.
You want me to say that on the podcast?
Sure you can. I knew that's what you were thinking.
She can cut it.
How does it make me feel? Well, I got a semi right now, so there you go. That's how it makes me feel.
Little chub.
I'm gonna be shirt cocking it later. There you go.
Shirt dicking, damn it.
R2D2 is going.
Shirt dicking.
Fuck. So who you got?
All right, this one's tough. This one's real tough because you know me. I overanalyze this shit. Like, what final are we running? What do they have to do in the final? Is there eating? Is there math? Like, there's a lot of little things. So for me,
it's a Dirty 30 final.
Dirty 30 final?
This isn't helping my decision.
That doesn't help my decision. And the hardest part is I don't know how Rachel is at eating because none of the finals she ran, there was like, they weren't doing dirty, nasty, fucking eat this raw sheep face and drink a pint of blood. They weren't doing that kind of stuff.
I know. Delicious. I'm literally trying to think if she's had to have done at least one eating challenge, right?
Yeah,
maybe.
My brain isn't doing anything right now.
I could be wrong, again, I'm just going to admit my bias, but
where's stats and info when you need him?
I'm sticking with my girl Tor. Like, I got to stick with my girl Tor. I got to stay loyal to my girl.
Why do I have to go before you do?
Because I want to hear what your answer is.
I don't know.
I pay for the podcast. That's why you have to go first.
I'll Venmo you.
You still gotta go first.
I'll sell you $50 tomorrow. You go.
I don't know, because honest, I was just teasing you about that being your Jordan and Bananas, but I think they're just my female Jordan and Bananas. I don't fucking know.
It's tough. It's tough.
That's not an answer.
I know. I almost want to say Tori only because she's so fresh in the challenge world and Rachel hasn't done a final in so long. But I don't want to count her out because Rachel's a fucking beast.
Well, and I think it would be like a back and forth thing, right? Like if we had checkpoints, like if there's a strength checkpoint, I'm probably giving that to Rachel because she literally lives for working out and lifting weights and stuff like that. Endurance, I feel like they're pretty, they're probably pretty even.
Puzzles is just who fucking knows?
Eating is tough because Tori's not good at it and Rachel's never done it. You know what I mean? So it's just like, that's such a hard matchup to predict.
Oh, I'm just going to be contrary to everybody else.
You're going to take Rachel?
Yeah.
Yeah. I figured you were going to take Rachel.
Well, honestly, I'm
telling Tori you don't love her anymore.
After she sent you a special video for your birthday? On your birthday?
Him too? She sent you one.
She texted me a personal one for him on his birthday.
No, don't get me wrong. I love Tori. I know.
I'm just teasing you.
I just think that Rachel's job, which keeps her in the gym, might give her a little bit of an advantage in a long run.
Rachel does train Tori, so
she spent all summer training all those challengers.
Yeah, she's like Mr. Miyagi right now.
Laurel's getting a free subscription.
Oh my God, that was so petty and so perfect.
Okay, look, you want to know what else was so close to being perfect?
This was the one that disappointed me.
Was the name of the fucking daily. Another trucker. Like just one letter there. One letter from greatness. One letter.
One letter from greatness. We were so close. So close.
Just that little extra.
Mother trucker. Like, I don't understand why we missed the mark on that one. And it's almost like they're doing it on purpose at this point. Like, they're almost fucking with us on purpose with the title.
Like, we listen to your podcast, motherfuckers. You're the mother trucker.
TJ was so happy and so excited about it, though. He's such a child, and I love it. He's such a child at heart. It's great.
It really was.
Even seeing all of them get so excited about this, though, just my heart.
Dude, this is where the funniest comment of the whole episode comes from.
Oh, freaking Derek.
No.
What up?
No.
What was it?
Bananas going, me and Jordan are on the same skill level when it comes to acrobatic stuff.
Oh my God.
I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, you sure are. What was your guys' initial, like when you saw when TJ's like, oh, here's the semis and you're going to punch these bags. What was your like initial reaction to the daily before even seeing anybody go out to do it?
I was excited.
Were you
I was
really?
so excited. Yeah, only because you could see like, well, I guess if I'm trying to think if I could see the targets. When I see semis, it's a 50-50 of like if I'm going to be excited about it. But then knowing that they were going to have to be like swinging like Tarzan, I'm like, this is going to be fun.
Once I realized exactly how it was, I felt a little better. But I'm like you. If I see a semi immediately, it's a negative on that daily immediately. And then I saw the target thing, and it took me back to what was that? Total Madness, and because like Bailey was there, Swaggy was there, and they were hanging off the side of the truck, and they had to like try to break each other's.
Was it that, or was it double?
I think it was Total Madness because that was the one Bailey made the final.
Well, the trucks got close to the one where Bailey and Tori were against each other,
and they were like breaking each other's things, even though they weren't supposed to. And I was like, I think because they were in the bunker. That daily. So initially, I was like, oh, this is gonna suck.
I think. Honestly, when I see semi trucks on a daily, I think it's a good thing. When I see cars on a daily, I think it's a bad thing. So typically, like, because if you think about the one that they did on USA 2, where they were hanging on the sides and they had to take the other, that was fucking cool. You think about, the one on Double Agents where they were wrestling on top of a fucking semi and like half the cast got injured. Still pretty fucking cool.
During the final last season. All Stars.
Or well, even
were they on a? Where they had to shoot the stars.
Yeah.
Stupid. I'm dumb.
All Stars 4. They also had like they had to untangle each other on All Stars 4s off the side of a semi.
Oh yeah, that one was awesome.
Even on 39, where they were in the tanker with the fucking letters that were bobbing, and they had to go to the back and spell the challenge. Like that was kind of cool to watch. Yeah,
spelled it wrong and still won the daily.
Yeah, well, we're not talking about how good the producers are at games. We're talking about which ones are good games. What do you think, Chris?
I thought this one was great because it's like the first one we've had in a while where there's like no brain games involved. It's just straight like athleticism, and there's like no equalizer here. So it's like it was refreshing to see after a season of like everything being math or puzzles or some sort of equalizer being involved in the daily and the elimination. Now that we finally had an episode where there was like no equalizer and just straight athleticism, I was actually like pleasantly surprised.
Okay, who was your guys' pick to win before watching it? Because like I always think in my head, oh, this is perfect for whoever.
Yeah, Jordan.
Yeah, Jordan.
Jordan was going to absolutely smash this without even like with no effort. He wasn't going to break a sweat.
And Tori, honestly, I thought it was going to be Tori.
For the girls, I thought it was going to be Jenny because she's so tall and long and she got them longo legs. So I thought Jenny was going to smash this.
I thought it was going to be Bananas because he's just good at random shit like this.
That's true.
Like it just seems like a Bananas type of daily to come out on top. And I thought that, Tori, I thought Tori would do a lot better.
Okay.
So
that's fair.
With that being said, pleasantly surprised on how this all turned out. It was fucking cool.
Wow.
My heart.
And people did a lot better than I thought. Like, I didn't think that Bananas and Kylan were both going to get 11 out of 12. Like, and I thought those were like winning scores right there until we got to the last 2 rounds, basically.
Yeah. I thought Bananas was going to win. And once I saw Jordan get 12, I was like, okay, because I'll admit I'm not a huge Banana fan. She's the big Banana fan. CT's my guy. And so I was like, okay, Bananas isn't going to win. We might have a chance of getting him out of the game. And then obviously what happened. But the part that really made me laugh the most through this whole thing, the part that I was just like, oh my God. Tori watching Jordan perform.
Yeah.
That girl, she was remembering everything from their past together. And you could see it all just replay on her face like, damn, I fucked up.
We were watching it and I looked at Corrina and I was like, she is getting giddy like a schoolgirl right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Hey,
like,
I don't blame you. That's hot, man. Like,
she said everything I was going to say, so I don't have to say it.
Exactly.
Thanks, Tori.
Yeah.
She had the same look on her face that Corrina had when we interviewed CT. Just.
Yeah. No, it was really funny to watch Tori watch Jordan. But yeah, no, I was very pleasantly surprised with how this daily went out. And I just want to like, I want to say, because I don't want it to come off the wrong way. Like, I wasn't necessarily shocked that Derek did well, because I see that athleticism. I see that competitive nature in 100%. Derek, especially since we've interviewed him and he's come back on, you know, like All Stars and stuff. I see what he has to offer. But I will admit that when they went to sudden death, I thought Jordan was going to win. I turned to Rick and I was like, it would be so funny if like Derek won. Well, at first I was like, how funny would it be if they just kept going 12 and 12 and 12 and neither of them ever fucking lost? I was like, what are they going to do? But I was pleasantly surprised that he actually beat Jordan. I did not expect that. No, I thought that either. Jordan was going to take it. So I literally jumped up off my couch. I was like, oh my God, Derek. Like, I was so happy for him.
I legit cried. Like, that was one of the moments. Just, my heart was so happy, especially when he had his confessional talking about, like, what if I beat Jordan at Jordan's best when he's trying his hardest? Like, then it just means so much more. Because we all fucking know how hard that man tries. Yeah. But also, before I forget, guys, we actually got good music. During this daily.
We did. I did
fucking
say that to
love
Corrina.
this song. Not to drop my fitness group, but we used it in our fitness group a few weeks ago. So.
Oh, we're gonna drop it, Sydney Miller, everybody.
So this is one of the reasons I'm a really big Jordan fan, not because he's like baby goat or anything like that. But did you see how he turned into a fucking spider monkey, hopped up on Mountain Dew? Like this, he had so much fun doing this.
He was just swinging in circles waiting for the truck to go.
Dude, I was like, dude, this is why I'm a fan of this guy. Like, he actually truly enjoys all of this.
He does. He really, really does.
Did you guys notice like the side changes? How Jordan was on the right truck for the first round and then the left truck for the left round? Oh. And how the outside targets were harder to hit than the inside one?
Yeah.
I didn't notice that. They said
they were going so much faster, too.
Yeah. And his compromise hand was on the outside truck on the second round.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
But it wasn't in the first round because he was on his right side.
That's interesting.
I wonder if that had anything to do with it, but
possibly.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I'm actually, you know what, though? I'm really glad that you brought that up because it takes me to another quick subject that I don't have in our notes, but that I did want to address. Something that I saw online is that apparently still to this day, after all of his seasons, all of his wins, all of his commitment to this show, these motherfuckers, these mother truckers still do not provide custom gloves for Jordan. And he used to sew and make his own glove for his left hand. And they won't even allow him to do that. So now he just has to duct tape his hand up.
That's such fucking bullshit.
I'm livid, bro.
What
livid
the
about
hell?
that. Like, how do you disrespect this man so much when he's done so much for your franchise?
That would be like if you give someone shoes that don't fit like that.
Well, they do that too, apparently, all the time.
Yeah, they're always falling off.
Oh my God. I'm so mad right now.
Yeah, it really pissed me off to see that. And I just don't understand those kinds of decisions, you know, like, you guys are like, look, it's fine. I don't want to go off on a huge tangent about it, but I wanted to bring attention to it because I think it's important that production continues to get pressed on about this. And obviously, like, you know, as fans on a podcast, it's not going to do much. But, you know, if enough people speak out about it, enough challengers push back, change can be made. So don't stay quiet about this shit, fans. Get to tweeting, get to whatever. What's the other one that everybody does now? Threads. I don't know what you threading. Get to threading. I don't know. Okay. Make some reels. I don't know. But it's just, at the end of the day, it's not right. They need to provide him with custom gloves, and he shouldn't have to sew his own. He shouldn't have to, duct tape his hand so that he doesn't get, rope burn. Like, they need to make him custom gloves.
Yeah, no, 100%. Another thing I love about Jordan, him fucking with people before the challenge starts. So he's like, he looks at Derek, he's like, I'm winning. And he's like spinning in the fucking rope and shit.
But then fucking Derek, like, I'm just pretending I'm on my way to a drag brunch. Snatch and weave. Snatch and weave.
That was fucking good.
I loved the weave snatching.
And him just spinning the rope up there too.
Yes.
Just like in the rope.
He was having a blast. Dude.
Yeah, that shit was great.
You could feel the energy in this one. They had fun. They had fun, and you could feel like even like the girls who didn't do well, watching Aviv was fucking hilarious. Yeah, absolutely hilarious. Okay, her trying to put her, her trying to swing her foot out like that. She was so funny, and she's so small.
I have a real question. Not that all my other questions aren't real questions either, but
they're fake ones.
Sometimes they're fake. We don't know. Okay, if Tori and Aviv both got 2, how did we decide that Aviv is the loser?
I think Tori's 2 targets were made earlier on the track, whereas Aviv's were a little bit later. And so they
so it was
gave
like a timing thing?
Yeah, it was like who got their 2 quicker. And I think Tori got her 2 targets quicker. That's how I'm assuming it is. I know there is an article out about it. I literally, guys, today has been a disaster.
Yeah, wouldn't it be sick if they just told you on TV?
I know, right?
Weird.
Wouldn't that be great?
Strange.
If they just explain their decisions?
Explain the rules.
It's one of my biggest fucking pet peeves about this show. You want to call yourself the 5th sport, but you don't do anything like a real sport. So.
Exactly. And that brings me to my last question, topic, whatever, that I really wanted to touch on for this daily. And, Rick said it was part of the rules. I didn't catch it in the rules when TJ said it. Maybe it just wasn't aired and it was told to them as part of the rules. But to me, and not at all to take anything from Derek. I'm so fucking happy that Derek won. But to me, that sudden death round, it should have gone all 12 targets, because what if the next target Derek missed and Jordan got it? Then they're even again. You know what I mean? So it was just weird for it to be like, oh, the first missed target, that's the end of the game.
That's sudden death.
Yeah, sudden death is first to the
I guess.
To me, I like this because I thought, my first initial thought was, what happens if they get all 12 again? How are we going to fucking break this tie?
Yeah, I guess. So. All right. Yeah. I just wanted to.
I still get what you're saying, though, because I
just think it would have been interesting to see, to see them go all 12 targets, see if Derek could finish it out 12 and 12 again, whereas, obviously Jordan would have been 11-12 if he got the rest of them. I just think it would have been interesting, but I see your guys' point. You're right.
Yeah,
all
right. Rick, you could have saved her on that question.
Yeah.
You were right.
Can you clip that and put that on the fucking
early Christmas present?
So
10:39 on 9.
Yeah.
All right.
So Derek obviously wins for the men. Rachel wins for the women with 6, not 6. I'm sorry, 9. And she fucking killed it on that. She really did.
She did really good.
Yeah. Josh is the loser for the men with only 6, and then Aviv lost with 2 for the women.
That honestly though, so like major props to the men, because to get half of those targets and be the loser, like that just means like those men kicked ass on those targets, And
I think we can all
any normal situation with this, like getting half of the targets wouldn't put you as the fucking loser, So they kicked ass on this. The guys did.
So I've been thinking about this, and because we always have the debates on like as far as what fans think they really like versus what they like. Oh, I wish it was like the old school where, and we're like, you don't really like old school challenges because it's a chicken dressed up as a chicken. It's bullshit. It's how many burritos can you eat? Stupid shit.
Put a bicycle together and ride it.
Yeah.
Or lift up some watermelons.
Yeah. Exactly.
Now ice with your body.
I think what fans miss.
We want those back.
Oh, shit. I think what fans are actually missing, though, is looking at a daily or an elimination and saying, I would want to do that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And this is one of those. And I think we're all in agreement that when I saw this, I was like, I would fucking love to do this challenge.
This one and the video game one.
Yes.
Yeah. Video game one?
Where they had to like climb up the rope ladder and then pull the bridge up.
Yeah.
And,
Like Donkey Kong level.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I think for me, and we've had this conversation before. I think for me, it's a lot of the time it's the simplicity of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Jump, swing, and hit the target. Easy. There's not 10 steps. Paddle across this lake, go get these pieces, bring them over here, go over here and get this, come back here, solve this math problem, then cross back across the lake, put your puzzle together and hit your butt. Bro, that's too much. You're doing too much. Okay. Just pop up. You do less, pop up.
Mm-hmm.
And so I really love these dailies that are good. They're fun and they're simple.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's why this one sticks out so much for me.
Okay, last question. We'll move on. If you were to do this daily challenge, how many targets do you think you'd hit?
7.
I'm gonna say, look,
None.
yeah, I'm gonna say, Tori got 2. I'm gonna give myself 1. I might get 1 good swing, but I'm not very tall. I'm only like 5'3". All right. And I'm
Pequito.
huh?
Muy pequito. Very small.
Yes. And I grew up like playing sports like soccer and stuff, but I don't think that I've ever like swung on a rope like that. So I wouldn't even know what to do with my body to get the momentum and the what's the word? I'm like the stretch to
oomph.
Yeah, so like I'm not gonna pretend like I would go out there and fucking kick ass at this. No, I would probably look stupid. I'd probably look like a Vive with my legs up in the air instead of straight out. Which again, one of the funniest things I've ever seen. She was like, wee, just swinging around. I was like, girl, stick your legs out straight. Where are you going? The targets aren't up.
She's also like 5 foot.
I know. That's what made it so funny though, because she's so small. It was so funny watching her try to get out there. But yeah, I don't know. What do you think? How many would you get?
Oh, well, my pride tells me I would get 12, but being realistic, I think I'd probably do 6, maybe
about half,
between 5 and 7, somewhere in there, the 6 range. You know what I mean?
That's fair.
Yeah, I'd say like 5 to 6, humbly.
Katie?
I'd probably fail. I'd probably get 0. I'd probably be like a Vive, just trying and just not getting it. I'd be lucky if I got 1. I'm horrible at that shit.
You'd be out there like this, just going in circles.
I would just be spinning like, oh, this is magical. Where's my glitter?
Honestly, I want to say 7, but I'm probably realistically anywhere between 0 and 5.
0 and 5.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm kind of right there in that same boat.
Yeah. It would be fun as shit. That like this is definitely one I would do. Like I would try it. Also, I just want to say to everybody who's messaged in out there, no, you are not alone in being very curious about whether or not these people were gonna fucking fall off the rope and die under the wheels of the truck. But yes, they were clipped in. I happened to notice the clip.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah,
later in the sudden death, but all the other rounds I was sitting there, I was like, are they not fucking clipped onto that rope? Like, what happens if they
Do you think the challenge producers would trust Josh with just a rope?
Yes. I think that the challenge producers would make very questionable decisions. I definitely think that.
It wouldn't be the first time.
Not with Bananas still there.
And Jordan, I guess. Yeah, Jordan would be like, no.
It was just like in the video game challenge where they were swinging from the rope, but
they weren't.
They weren't.
This one, I do think they were actually like they had to push themselves. Like that was up to them. Yeah. Whereas that one, the obstacle course one, was pretty much just hold it and let it release and then just ride it down. Like you didn't really have to do anything for that one. But I did like that this one wasn't on any kind of like harness or pulley system. Like they had to launch themselves out. They had to catch themselves, which that was funny watching Michele after she would come back in trying to like catch her feet on the ground.
Yeah.
I was like,
good.
I'd probably be more like if Michele and Aviv had a baby, that's how I would have done on this
I like
challenge.
it. I like it.
All right. So well, guys, welcome back to
the Challenge Fandom Podcast, the greatest challenge podcast out there.
The goat said it.
He said it.
His actual
He said
words.
it.
You're never going to let that go, huh?
I can't.
Can you clip that and just put it in our story since he saw them?
I don't really want him to send us a cease and desist.
Yeah. Considering I cut that all together.
Fine.
I mean, like, honestly, we could probably go with this one if we really
this one
want
we
to.
could, because
May the Challenge Fandom Podcast continue to be absolutely bananas.
Just remind him what he promised.
we should. He did promise he would
Just-
come on.
Just saying, there's video evidence of it.
There's video evidence.
I've seen it.
It's
with
legal
my
and
eyes.
binding.
It is a binding contract. Bananas.
We had the video notarized.
I can't rope you in with my toes, but
Well,
I probably could technically.
I was gonna
'cause,
say,
you know,
hearing about
they
how
are
long
like
that
fingers.
toe is, yeah, you probably could have.
it's very equivalent to Tori's foot. So
Yeah.
my dreams are just smashed.
Smashed. Yeah.
Well, as long as you don't have LeBron James feet, you're doing all right.
Oh, God.
If you haven't seen the pictures, go Google
I'm
that shit.
scared. I don't want to. I
Yeah.
don't enjoy feet.
Anyways.
No, I'm not a feet person either.
Anywho,
You know what
we'll
I
swing
enjoyed?
back into this.
I enjoyed the post daily. I thought it was actually really good.
Oh,
Hell yeah, it was.
I loved it. I loved it.
Fucking Carl. Just, I couldn't handle all of it.
Dude, Carl
No.
was amazing. I one of the things I did find interesting, one of the conversations that happened was I believe it was a confessional that we got from Rachel,
Oh shit.
where she was like, I'm really confident that Josh could take Corey in an elimination because they are comparable. And then she says, there's nothing that they could throw at them that would give one the edge over the other. And I was like, what? Who have you been watching the last 10 seasons? I'm just curious.
Tell me you haven't watched the last 10 seasons without telling me you haven't watched the last 10 seasons.
I was like,
This is where maybe I could see Tori taking it. It's just, the little things like this, But I love you, Rachel. I love you so much.
I think what I want to say about this is that it's I think it's very sweet to have so much confidence in your friends. And
Yes.
that's, hype your friends up. There's not a single thing in the world that Katie could ever call me and say, hey, I'm going to do this. And I would be like, nah, you're not good at that. I'd be like, bitch, you got this. You're going to be the best at this. So
What if I had to do this elimination
You got
against
this.
Tori?
You got this. You're going to take her
You're
out.
faster.
Yeah.
You've got that longer toe to dig into the sand to give you extra pull.
Yeah.
We both have long toes.
That's going to hinder her on the haystack, though.
Her toe's going to get caught. You see?
Is mine not?
No.
We're gonna have to measure our toes. All right, Tori. Someday.
Last week feet, this week toes.
This is why you need to go to NYC in December, okay?
Exactly.
Go measure your toe.
I'll make sure I wear open-toed shoes.
Yep.
Easy access.
I would advise against it in NYC.
Yeah, I won't do that. I'll wear my docs for that trip.
Yeah.
I'll show her my toes in private.
There you go.
Maybe we'll be friends and she'll take me into her pretty little room where she films all her content. And that didn't come out right.
Yep.
Because
You should just stop.
Not that
Can we clip this?
I
Please.
take it. No,
Yeah,
take it back.
Corey's
Cut it
getting all
out.
of this.
I love it.
I
Keep it
didn't
in.
even mean it like that. That's what she said.
Yeah, you definitely have to.
Yeah. Chris, what do you
Keep
think?
going.
I'm sorry. I went to the garage on my break, guys.
Oh, no.
And when I'm asking, what do you think? I'm not talking about Katie's breakdown right there, but But as far as what Corrina was asking is Josh and Corey, do you believe what she's saying, or do you think she's just telling us lies?
As far as them being comparable,
yeah,
I could understand like strength wise that they're both physical. They both have great endurance, but no, I don't. I think athletically, Corey's a cut above Josh in every aspect.
And that's the word that I was going to use too. The athletically. That's where that's where they're separated, and it's not even close.
Yeah, like strength wise, they could both lift a lot of weight, which is fine. But like, who's going to be able to move like? Whose agility is better? Who's faster? Who's quicker off the blocks? You know, I mean, who has more like blunt force trauma when it comes to hitting somebody like in a hall brawl type situation? It's going to be Corey every time.
I'm gonna say some stuff, and I know certain people aren't going to agree with me, but I don't give a fuck.
It's going down for real.
You are either born with that athletic kind of gene. Look, my coach used to say, "There's two types of people in this world." There's people that you'll put up on a platform and tell them to jump off, and they'll land with their feet shoulder width apart, pointed forward, and they'll bend at the knees naturally. And then there's people that won't.
Right.
And unfortunately, I feel like Josh is one of the people that doesn't. That's not him, and that's fine. I have to deal with it every day. I look at it with my kid, and I'm like, nope. Nope, not going to happen.
Sorry, buddy.
I love him to death, but it's just not there. You know what I mean? It's fine.
Yeah.
But if it was a puzzle, yes, I think they're comparable.
So,
if it's, math, if it's even endurance, like running on a treadmill, yeah, they're comparable. But
how many triangles are in this?
Yeah.
So here's
Puzzle
so then
King.
here's my how'd you get to way through Puzzle King? All right, so here's my scenario. We'll place them in. We'll take, because I'm proposing, we'll take one of my favorite eliminations, and we'll even take one that Josh has already done to give him the edge.
Oh.
If Josh has done it, he's lost at it though.
Yes, he did. But he lost at a very good person. But let's take something that is very strength focused, like the tug of war that he did against Jordan, right? And obviously he got his ass worked by Jordan, but again, I don't know many people that would have beat Jordan strategically in that game. Let's put Josh and Corey in that elimination. Who do you think Josh has a better chance against Corey in that type of an elimination? Who would you take to finally win it in the end?
I think that one goes 4 hours and they die from exhaustion. That's my honest take, and I'm just because when it comes to strategy, which one of them? Who's the strategic one there?
Right.
Yeah.
No one's going to think, oh, let the rope go, then pull it, and then, another one of them. And who's going to cheer for him up there to give him that information? I think it goes way too long. And, somebody just falls out.
Yeah, realistically, I don't think either of them are smart enough to think of it the way Jordan thought of it with strategy. They would have just made it a true tug of war. And they would have just been whoever fell first. But if I had to pick, like, if they both went into it straight tug of war style, which I think they would have gone at it that way, I'd probably still give the edge to Corey.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it goes back to what I just said. Some people are just born different.
Yeah.
And I want you to take a picture right now and post it so the people watching can see of Corey's muscles when he's flexing and Josh's muscles when he's flexing. And you're going to ask me who's going to win in this strength-based fucking competition where no one's going to play strategy
and balance too.
Yeah.
Balance. I guess that's a good one.
Balance is an athletic thing. Like, you either have it or not. And I saw a comment in the live, and I think it plays really well. And Josh, if he wants to get better at the challenge, is something that maybe he should really consider, which is certain athletes, like NFL players, will take ballet or take a dance to develop that footwork, to develop that thinking, being able to balance and thinking on your feet, really.
Hey, guys, Josh is in Miami. He can go take my classes.
There you go.
Ta-da! You can do some dance, cardio. It'll be great.
Yeah.
And look, I'm not trying to hate on Josh or anything. I'm just calling it as I see it.
Yeah.
Like you said, Rachel said he's a real life friend. They both live in Florida. I'm pretty sure that he's going to continue those workouts with her, and he's going to get better. Is he going to ever achieve the Corey level of athleticism? No, but I think that he's going to better himself.
Right. And I think that was one of the, again, I said this on the live, and I'll say it again. I'm not sure where I heard this, if it was like a comment on Facebook or Instagram or whatever, or if it was something somebody submitted into one of our question boxes. I'm not sure exactly where it came from, but somebody said that there's a difference between like being in shape and being athletic. Like you can go train your body to be in shape, but you can't really like learn athleticism. Mm-hmm. You can't train athleticism. If you're not an athletic person, you're just not an athletic person. Mm-hmm. So I think that Josh can, he can train, he can strengthen, he can strength train, endurance train, all that stuff. And I think he will continue to get better. But, will he, like you said, will he ever be like athletic on the level of like a Jordan or a Bananas or a CT or a Corey? I just don't see it, You
can be Gabo or you can be Corey. I'm going to be Corey.
Fucking Gabo, dude.
Look, and I mean, I can't add anything that hasn't already been said in this. One thing I did want to talk about was the conversation that Derek and Corey had, where Derek was pretty straightforward with him and was like, hey, man, I would rather Bananas go in. But at the end of the day, I don't really have a say, so I'm just going to co-sign, which, anyone's going to do, because who's going to put up a fight that you can't win? You know what I mean?
Well, and my thing is with this one is, I saw a lot of people commenting this on Instagram and stuff, as people were like, why didn't Derek kind of voice his opinion and kind of fight a little bit harder? First of all, obviously, as we all know, the final decision comes down to Rachel. She's the one who makes a final call regardless. And I don't think there was anything in the world apart from like some kind of scheme on the side that Bananas was doing behind Rachel's back that Derek could have told her to change her mind, which obviously that's not happening. So like there just was no scenario where Derek was going to be able to change Rachel's mind. And had he gone in there and fought back against her, that now, kind of puts him in a awkward, bad situation with her. And it looks really bad to Bananas, And so I don't know. I don't blame.
I have a question for you.
Yeah, go for it.
Had the roles been reversed on the island, Rachel sends Bananas home. We come back here. Does Bananas not hold that grudge like he does and send Rachel in? I just don't understand where her loyalty is from this one season. Because that's the only season they were on together.
No, they were on another season together.
Yeah, they glazed over that one.
They were on X's one together as well, in which Bananas also called Rachel a snake and then voted her in and got her out in the first fucking elimination. So it's like, it's so weird. I have some thoughts on a conversation that happened in the club. So I'll dive.
We're all fam.
I'll dive more into my opinion on that once we get there. But it's a very interesting alliance. That's for sure.
I just, you know what? Let's get into the club.
Let's do the club. Really quick.
We're all going to the club.
We're everywhere, so yeah.
It's the club from now on.
Really quick. One more shout out to Carl.
Well, that's,
and there is something we didn't talk about. Tori and Kara talking about how Tori basically saying, like, you know what? She is like the yin to my yang, or like the sun and the moon. Yep. And it's so true.
I loved how she said we're the opposites but the same, and I was like, that is the perfect explanation for these two.
Yes,
and I think that their challenge journeys, their characters from the show, even the character development, and arc of them on the show have been so similar. That it's always bugged me. Like, how do you two not get along? You're both like the same person, and you both have these silly personalities where I never understood why they fucking hated each other so much.
The fact that Carl came to the back expecting Tori to already be dressed up was all I needed to know that this is a friendship moving forward.
Yeah, for sure. I think like even in the past, like even when they were going at each other, it was so like their banter was so funny with each other, even though they had like beef or whatever. I feel like they low-key wanted to like hold on to that for so long to like, I feel like it's like sometimes beef is strategic. Was like if there's ever rivals, you know what I mean? Like Corey and Tori are kind of unbeatable. Kind of how like Emily Scrum and Paula were when they were rivals and they were unbeatable. So I feel like because they were so even their like beef was so bantery and funny, where it's like I don't know, it just always seemed like it was just too good to be true. And then now it's like I think the format here lends itself to them kind of mending fesses, where it's like I can't take you out, you can't take me out. Same with the Rachel and Tori conversation. These are my allies, these are your allies. You can't really do anything about it, and I can't really do anything about your allies either. So I think the format has kind of lent itself to these people kind of having certain conversations we would have never seen before.
So I agree with that 100%. I think if this was any other format, maybe we don't see this. Yeah.
Or the fact that Paulie's out early and Tori doesn't have a significant other on the season.
Right. I think there's a lot of things that play into this.
Bananas being at odds with Tori, I think, is the biggest implicator, though, because it leaves open that spot where
Bunions, man.
Yeah. Well, the enemy of my, the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So here's my little wrench I'm going to throw into the situation.
I'm scared.
Does it change your opinion about what may potentially be going on with Tori and Cara, knowing that now post-season they still don't like follow each other or anything like that on socials? Does that matter? Do you guys think this is for show only? Or do you guys think it's just like, because I'll be honest, like I'm like all the people that like I'm friends with and I know in life, I'm not necessarily following them or friends with them on social media. A lot, some of my friends post shit I don't fucking care to see, but call me and we're still friends and we'll talk and hang out. So I don't put as much weight on like who you're following on social media and stuff like that. But I know that a lot of fans have been, we made a little meme about when Tori and Cara were dancing at the club a couple episodes ago. And a bunch of people have come on and they're like, oh, but this is just a fake friendship. They're not even following each other. So I'm curious, how much weight do you guys put behind these challengers following each other on social media?
Not that much. Honestly, aren't they doing like some like cruise together as well?
Yeah. Yeah. They're doing the big cruise.
Like, if you're doing business with somebody, like you gotta have some type of working relationship with them.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's kind of how I feel too. I don't put a lot of weight behind them not following each other on Insta or, any socials. I think it should, like I said, there's a million reasons maybe you're not following somebody. And one of those could just be that you forgot you're not following that person.
Well, and here's my thing is,
that's it. I'm unfollowing Rick.
I think, look, and maybe it's, this is my, get off my lawn speech, but maybe it's because I'm an older millennial and I just look at social media as it's not real life. Social media doesn't determine who I'm friends with or what's going on in my life. Mm-hmm. What I put on social media is what I want the world to see.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's fair.
So.
Sure.
That's deep, dude.
My only hesitation with it is that they both are very big on social media.
Right. Yeah.
And that's the only thing that makes me say,
It makes me wonder if maybe something happens that switches their situation again later in the season or postseason. Reunion, maybe. You know what I mean? I don't know.
We need some reunion tea.
I mean, Tori's following Paulie, so.
Well, they're close. Paulie like calls Tori sis, and like they're pretty close. So I'm not surprised by that.
That's weird. I call Katie brother.
Sup, bruh?
What's up, bruh?
Last thing I really wanted to point out, just because I thought it was fucking hilarious.
It's my line of the night. We're talking about the same thing.
Yeah, I think so. The Michele thing.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So Carl comes into the room with Tori and they're laughing, whatever. And Michele says, I'm officially turned on for the first time. For the first time since Devin left. And I was like, yeah, you better add that little bit back on.
Yeah, you have to. You're going to be in hot water with that.
Killed me.
Devin, immediate forgiveness.
Yeah, so I wanted to throw that in because it's my line of the night too. That shit had me cracking up.
So, at this point, we all kind of know what's going on. Josh is going in. Rachel's making the decision. We know it's going to be Corey, Josh.
Yeah.
And in the club scene, we get those two talking, and it's that fake, like, oh yeah, no sweat. It's, I love you, fam. We're family, all of that. But
I got to give Corey his props. I got to give Corey his props because he called Josh on his bullshit immediately and he stood his ground.
And how he called him on it too. Like, he wasn't rude. He was just like, no.
Then love me like family. If you're going to call me family, love me like family.
Yeah.
Bro, come on, man.
Well, and that's the thing with Josh is I think he is a little bit loose with those words, and he wants to build a friendship so much with people without realizing that implicates you in having to get blood on your hands.
Right.
In this game, you can't be best friends with everybody. You're going to have to make a decision. And look, spoiler alert, he goes home. But
what? Oh my God!
I wasn't finished with the episode,
dude. We were not there yet.
Thought we were spoiler free. No.
If he didn't, he was going to be forced to make a decision between Rachel and Tori at some point. We're going to get down to that point.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So
yeah, exactly. No, I mean, and look, I get it. I don't know. I'm also like, I'm one of those people where, I don't know, maybe I'm just a grumpy old lady, but I'm one of those people where I'm like, okay, I'm like 35 or 36, 35.
Old enough for dementia.
One of those two.
I'm 34. You're 35.
You don't look a day over 29.
She's married, Josh.
But I'm one of those, I'm just like, I'm at a stage in my life, and maybe just because I've been through so many fucked friendships, where like, if somebody does me wrong or screws me over at this stage in my life as adults, I'm done, bro. Like, I'm not gonna train you on how to be a good friend in our mid 30s. Like,
I was the last one. She gave me 5 options or 5 chances. That's it. I ruined it for everybody.
But like, if you're a grown adult in mid 30s, whatever, 40s, whatever, you know what I mean, and you're a shitty friend, like that, I'm not going to waste my time and train. So it's hard for me to see these situations and just watch people just like forgive, when they've been done wrong. I'm like, God, I would never do that. But I mean, I understand it too, because these are people that not only you have like a friendship with, but that you're going to consistently be like working with. So I get why Corey, was so quick to just kind of roll into that forgiveness stage with Josh. But I don't know. I don't know that I would have okayed Josh's actions as quick as Corey did in that moment.
Well, I think Corey knows that, no matter what you say with your mouth, now you're going to actually have to fucking back it up against me.
That's true.
Yeah, that's true.
So, I mean, that's how I look at this.
Corey just wants his Venegancy.
That's really what it is. I think.
Oh my God. And it was him that did that, didn't he? It was Corey.
Yes, it was.
That makes that so much better.
What do you guys think of? I know we've kind of glazed over it as far as with the seasons they've done together. What did you think of the actual apology that Bananas gave Rachel?
It's bananas. It hit. I love bananas, and guys, it's fucking bananas. That is his sincere apology, okay?
How'd she get on the
bananas
podcast?
Language. Huh?
How'd she get on the podcast? Bananas is my number 1.
I didn't say that.
Reject.
I just said I love him.
Look, he talked about the ways of building relationship, and that's communication.
He said, "What's that?" No, I look. This moment, there was a couple moments in this episode that I was kind of like, this feels like it was kind of done for the camera. If it was a very sincere thing, it could have been done in private, whatever. This was one of those moments for me. It felt to me like maybe Bananas wasn't 100% secure in what Rachel was going to do. And he wanted to make sure she knew, like, hey, I'm sorry for what you like. It was almost like a plea. For me is how I saw it. So it came off a little bit corny to me, but I get it. The the one that really got me was what Rachel ended up
I gotta go. I think you know what? I think I heard something, so I better go check that out.
Oh, you gotta go check.
Yeah,
There's a noise.
Yeah. There's something here.
Maybe it's a child.
I hope not. For many reasons.
Twins.
Oh God.
No, but I found it fucking hilarious that Rachel referred to him as one of her.
As a child?
She said, I look at bananas like I look at raising children. And I was like, girl, us too. Like, same.
Yes.
What was that, Chris?
I said, yeah, everybody does, man. He's a mad child.
Yeah.
It's just Peter Pan.
I'm not mad at it though. Like he's kind of living my like ideal bachelor life scenario, which is I get to travel, eat steak every night with potatoes and wine, and make friends with squirrels before Katie runs them over.
Oh no!
Oh, she was laughing too. Look at that.
You got her with that one,
dude. You killed her quick.
On the ball tonight.
No,
Gus.
Meet Gus.
The part of this conversation between Rachel and Bananas and the club, the part that I really wanted to talk about was there was a confessional from Rachel where she says that Johnny is a really great guy because he has spent the entire season protecting the women he loves. My question, and I'm very curious to hear from the Banana fans, is if that was not the format for this season, do you think that Bananas still would have rode the way he rode?
Let's save her for last.
I'm going to give a really precise answer to this. Does a bear shit in the woods?
Okay.
I mean, yes.
All right.
So you're saying he still would have rode with Rachel?
No.
Oh.
If it was
I was like, what?
No. You said, would he still be this way? No, he would not. When has he ever been that way without it being beneficial towards Bananas?
Right.
And look, I like Bananas. I'm a Bananas fan. I find him great for the show.
That's what brought you into it.
Yeah, he's
him
the
stealing
reason
Sarah's money.
Yeah, he's the reason I'm a fan.
Yeah.
No, like the first opportunity he had to get Rachel out, if she did something wrong, he would have done it.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
It's true.
Look who his angels are. I mean, they're all finalists, people who've won a final. One who beat him face to face in a final. Why would you not go above and beyond to make that woman happy?
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
Sure.
That's fair. That's really fair.
Show.
Yeah, I think they're both willing to overlook, things in the past because it is convenient for them in the season. Where it's like Rachel spent so much time, bashing Bananas online in the seasons that she hasn't been playing. And now all of a sudden she's singing his, good graces. And, even recently, just like whatever Twitter drama she's been a part of, it's like she can't give a straight answer as to why has Bananas back so hard.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I think it's just because that in this season, it is mutually beneficial for them to both work for each other and work with each other. And that's probably the reason why we're seeing the things that we're seeing.
They're trying to get that check.
Facts, man. You gotta respect it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna knock the hustle. Just like I saw someone online today trying to like make fun of Casey for people paying her to be on TikTok. And they're like, "Oh, she's won all this money." It's like, so the fuck what?
You don't want more money?
Yeah,
Exactly.
and she won that shit 6 years ago. You know what I made in the last 6 years? You think I want to stop making money? Get the fuck out of here, bro. I want more.
Yeah, you gotta ride that wave while you have it.
She got paid for winning second place too.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Well, and here's my follow-up question to that is, had the drama that, ensued with Bananas and Devin wrapping in Tori and Michele early in the season, if none of that happened and Bananas, Tori, and Michele never fought, do you think that Bananas Angels would be the same people? Or do you think that Bananas might have ranked Tori or Michele over somebody that he's already got in his alliance? Like, what do you think would have happened if he never fought with Tori, never fought with Michele?
I think that was going to come anyway because of Devin and their hatred for each other. But had that never happened, I think it's a different story. I think you have like Rachel number 3 and then you have Michele Tori.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I was thinking. Yeah.
I think if Bananas is breaking it down too, if he's looking at Tori and where Tori has her, men ranked, he's going to look at it as like, where do I fall on Tori's list? If he's not top 3, I think he still goes for Tori regardless. You know what I mean? I think it just depends on, obviously, if without the rift, we will never really know. But I think logistically, if he realizes like, hey, Tori has, Jordan and Devin, and like, where does Bananas fall on that list? And if it's not mutually beneficial for him, then he's going to try and cut you if he can.
That's a good point, actually, because you're right. Because in the beginning, she had Jordan, Devin was obviously still there, Josh. So that would have put Bananas at like 4 or 5. So,
and that's not good enough for him.
That's a really good point. I didn't even think of that.
So if we're saying the only way I can really entertain this idea is, let's say Zach's on for Devin, right? Devin's not on this season.
Right.
Then yes, I think Tori would fall 3rd on
like Rachel,
Bananas
Jenny,
list.
Tori.
I would say Laurel, Jenny, Tori.
Really?
I would see it.
Emily.
At the beginning of the season.
Yeah, and
then
Emily
he's got Emily, and he's also really close with Jenny.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think Rachel kind of falls off. I don't think he works with Rachel if he's got all these other,
And if Devin's not there, he's 3rd on Tori's list because it would have gone Jordan, Josh, Bananas.
Right. That's opinion. I think that's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's all I got to say about that. So,
wait, but he did say something real funny.
Huh.
Oh no! What?
When he was talking to Rachel, and she was like saying, like professing her love, and he was like, "Are we dating?"
It did. Yeah, that was good.
I'm sorry, that made me laugh so hard.
It was good.
He's still got it with those quick
the little quips, one-liners.
He's been carrying this season with the quips this season.
Oh yeah,
he's been carrying this season in more ways than one. And I will 100% admit that he's been
Captain Save a Show.
Yeah, he's been performing well. He's been bringing the drama. He's been stirring the pot. He's been doing a lot. So 40 would not have been the same without Bananas. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, 100%.
Agreed, 100%.
I don't think that we can do it a whole lot of justice, especially compared to what they did on the show. But I just wanted to bring to light the Rachel and Derek conversation. And the cool montage we got of all the LGBTQ, challengers that we've seen on the season. Good. It was really cool how they put that all together.
Yes, I loved it.
And it was cool to just kind of see some of those flashbacks and, remember some of those people we haven't seen in a long time. Like we got a clip of Marlon. We got to see Shane, Frank, like Sam, it was cool. It was really, really cool. So I really appreciated that they gave that moment. That highlight to that and to what am I trying to say? I'm glad that they made a highlight to acknowledge the
history
that moment and acknowledge how special it was. And that, especially for Rachel and Derek to win together, so it was it was the perfect situation for it. And I loved it.
So one thing I really want to say about this, and I give production a whole bunch of shit all the time. That's my biggest knock on this whole show.
Yeah.
But I will give credit where credit is due. Buna Murray have been on the forefront of putting the LGBTQ, and now I believe it's IA after that.
LGBTQIA plus, I think.
So, and I'm sorry
if we're wrong, please correct us in the comments.
But have put them on the forefront from day one.
Yes.
It's since the early 90s when this wasn't really socially acceptable at that point. All the way through with the real world road rules, and MTV's a part of that as well. And so that's something, absolute credit to Buna Murray, really trendsetters in that.
Absolutely. And I know that, obviously none of us here can really speak direct to the situation. But I found it very interesting what Rachel said, how she said that, looking back on her time and realizing that, 20, 25 years ago, she was wearing a shirt with the word lesbian on it. And she would feel less safe wearing that shirt today than she did 20, 25 years ago. And I found that very interesting because, we've and I think she specifically said this is, we've come so far, in this aspect, but there's still so far to go. And I think that, you know, small little things like that really show how far we have to go.
Heck
and,
yeah.
you know, so that moment, that was one of those moments that just like, oh, I was like, dang, man, my heart goes out, you know, I couldn't imagine feeling that way. So my heart goes out to him. I'm glad that they got this moment to talk about that.
You know, the challenge about once a season, maybe once every 2 seasons, finally pulls it out of their pocket where they do something bigger than the show itself.
Yes.
And this was one of those moments where they pulled it out their pocket and played it very well. And it was very true and to the point, and it couldn't have 2 better people having the conversation about it.
Yeah.
So, we get into the chamber. Let's be honest, nothing really fucking happens here. We get Josh crying, talking about how close Rachel is and Bananas has been. But it's a foregone conclusion. It's Corey Josh
Derek's line, Derek sitting down, just saying, I'm just here to be pretty.
Yep, that one. And I thought it was real funny when Bananas was like, well, you made us all look like assholes today, Derek.
Yes. Everyone gave Derek his flowers.
They did.
Like,
well deserved.
He deserved them. Yeah, absolutely.
Since there's not a lot to talk about in this, I want to ask a question.
Okay.
Because Jordan says this in the episode. Do you agree or disagree that Derek is the dark horse to win this season?
That was my line of the night. And
Yeah.
Sure.
I could definitely see that. Like, I could see him coming out of absolutely nowhere and just absolutely killing this final.
Because you've seen him kill it in dailies and from All-Stars 4 and this season.
Yeah. We know he can run. And if this is an endurance run heavy final, we know that the running's not an issue for Derek. If it's puzzle heavy and equalizer heavy, like everything else has been, we know that he's good with that as well. So it's like, if it comes to like lifting heavy objects, that's the part where he might struggle, or maybe eating. But if it comes to endurance and puzzles and equalizers, he's got a good shot.
Yeah,
I agree.
And I saw him post something because I absolutely agree. And I hate to say dark horse because I think All Stars 4 kind of put people on notice that he's good, especially with that stadium daily they did. I was like, okay, so Derek's on a different level with his athletic ability to run and endurance. So I've been waiting for him to get another opportunity to prove that. And I think we're getting really close to seeing him do it because I see kind of a clear path for him to get to the final at this point.
Yeah, absolutely.
Next thing is he posted about the fact that a lot of people say he's floating to the final. Do you agree or disagree?
I mean,
floating in the air while he's swinging, maybe.
But he's swinging to the final. No,
like more swinging.
I think that the word floating, it already just comes with such a negative connotation that it's easy to be like, no. But I think the idea of kind of just floating to the final, I think yes, but not in a bad way. Like and I think Bananas pointed this out, like Derek set himself up in the beginning of the game to be in such a great position socially that nobody wanted to, put him in. And on top of that, I think that Derek being so underestimated, at least up until this, this episode, helps. Because people weren't really worried about him, and now it's a different game trying to get people in. So I don't know that I would use the word floating, but I think that he has definitely played a very quiet, a very like
low-key game.
Yeah, a CT-esque, a new age CT-esque game where he just kind of sits in the shadows and just kind of peeks and lurks a little bit and pops out and performs when he needs,
So the only reason
pop out and show him.
The only reason I'm going to jump in and say this is because you led into that is I'm only okay calling this him floating this season if we're calling CT floating in Double Agents and Spies Lies. You know what I mean?
If you mean floating by like having a great social game, then sure, he's floating brilliantly,
Yeah.
And that's a thing. And I think,
don't come in last.
Yeah. And I think the thing is that term floater really originates from Big Brother.
Right.
It really does. Because
floaters, grab a life vest.
Shout out Rachel.
Yeah, fucking Rachel.
Yes.
But in that game, you can float because there's so many people, and it's a very let's get the heavy targets out first and form an alliance. And there's always someone on the bottom of that alliance that just kind of rides the wave, and it's good. Challenge isn't like that. You're going to get tested either socially, strategically, or athletically.
Right.
And look, you can't really call someone a floater when they win.
Yeah.
And he won one of the coolest fucking dailies this season. So
Yeah.
I agree. I agree.
Okay, so after the post noms, this is honestly one of my favorite moments of the episode, and that's where Corey goes in, and I thought he was actually going to be calling his girl and his daughters, and we get Nelly T answering, and I wasn't ready for that.
I wasn't ready.
I wasn't ready.
I don't know if I'm ready to talk about it right now. I'm already like getting teary-eyed.
Well, we're on the podcast. Emotions play well, so just roll with it.
I make a great thumbnail.
Yeah.
No, this was a really special moment. Honestly, like Corey and Nelson's friendship is probably my favorite one from the challenge. Especially in these newer seasons, like 20 forward. It's definitely my favorite friendship. I love their friendship. I love their bond. And just getting to see like Corey, like watching his whole aura, his whole attitude change just by seeing how positive Nelly was being about the situation he's in, because it's hard to be like in a game where you're literally fucking chilling in $1 million house, getting fed, playing for $1 million. Like it's hard to be in that situation and be like, oh, I got to go into elimination. And then look at someone like Nelly and what he's going through and what he's having to learn how to deal with, and still feeling bad for yourself. You know, so it was, I think it was the perfect call for Corey to make in that moment. And then just like the part that got me though, was when Corey was like, you know, I remember talking to Nelson and Nelson saying like, oh, bro, it's going to be us on season 40 together. And then he's like, so I have to do it for Nelson. I'm just like, oh my God, now you have to win the elimination. Otherwise, like, I don't know how I'm going to watch the rest of the season.
Yeah.
So, it was a tearjerker.
It was,
Yeah, I thought it was great, man. It's like, obviously, like, if whatever happened to Nelson didn't happen, he would be on 40. He was such a big player in the seasons that he was a part of. Also, he makes great TV. He's a big personality. And obviously it would have been nice for Corey to have him as well, because Corey kind of came into the game with nobody really to rock with. So if he had Nelly with him too, the game would have been completely different. But yeah, seeing Nelson back on the television screen, and if you're following his journey, you know how crazy and how tough it's been for him lately. I was surprised by honestly like how mixed the reaction was from the public seeing that package. I couldn't believe that it was that. It was like as skewed as it was. But regardless of the situation, man, it is nice to see Nelly T back. It's nice to see him like being so positive, regardless of the situation. And yeah, man, their brotherhood's real, man. You know, you never forget, you know, Nelson going into elimination for Corey. You know, the things that they go through, man, it's bigger than the game. And yeah, it was nice seeing them back on TV for sure.
Absolutely.
This was another real moment that we needed.
Yeah. Also, shout out to Nelly T with the marketing, dude. He had the Nelly T t-shirt. He had the Nelly T sweats. He had the Nelly T neon sign in the background. Like, he was letting you know what time
he was ready.
Man.
That jacket was sick too. I was like, that's nice, man. Where you give me one of them?
My whole thing was like when Corey goes, you know, all I really needed was just to see that you were okay and see that smile on your face. And now I'm good to go.
Yeah.
Well, look, and I think we've talked about a lot over the last couple of weeks with friendships in the challenge. And I, like you said, you can't point to a realer friendship than Nelson and Corey. The fact that Nelson sacrificed his opportunity to go to a final so Corey could get to that final.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's huge.
And it's Uncle Nelly T.
Yeah. And the fact that, you know, if you follow him on IG, you see Nelly's out there, you know, Corey's gone out to Nelson right after the accident, was there with him. And that friendship and that bond, it's just special. And I really appreciate that. And they're two of my favorites. And, you know, fingers crossed, if it's something that Nelson really wants to do, maybe we could get him back on a season. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
because
maybe.
Look, if there's anyone that's got a strong enough willpower and a sense of determination, It's going to be Nelson.
Yeah.
I mean, we got Theo back, and we didn't think Theo was going to be back.
Look at Jordan. I mean, look, there's not saying that he can't do it. And it's not like Nelson's. Nelly ain't athletic. You know what I mean?
That's true.
You want to know who I think could have given Corey a run for his money on this?
Nelly. He's pretty fast.
He's fast as fuck, boy.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Heck yeah.
So, anyways, going on to, I found this part so fucking funny. And look, shout out to Alan Aguirre because he fucking enclosed it in a meme and it worked perfect, which is when Carr is trying to flip Rachel on throwing bananas in. And he posted a meme and he's like, everybody in America, you'd be a lot cooler if you did. You know what I mean? And I think that's kind of like the feeling everybody had. They wanted to see that backstab happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I agree. I was waiting, like, honestly, because I love big power moves like that. I love power moves. And so I was waiting for Rachel to just be like, you know what? Been fun. I appreciate it, but good luck, buddy. You know, but there was a part of me that knew that it wasn't going to happen. There was no chance Rachel was going to do that. But it would have been really entertaining.
It would have been the equivalent of Olivia saving Nerys or tossing Nerys in, vice versa.
Okay, so say Bananas goes in. Does Bananas beat Josh?
Yes.
Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, if Bananas goes in over Corey, Bananas.
Yeah, but then you also don't want to let him go in there, beat him, and then be able to pick targets.
That's true.
And Tori was available to be a target for once.
Yeah.
So. She was.
So this is, I think, was a very interesting part. I don't know if it happened exactly at this, but I don't want to forget this because I really wanted to bring it up, which is Corey. You know, I think he's looking through the pack of his photos of all the kids.
Yes.
And immediately me and Corrina
he still carries his pack of photos around.
I look at Corrina, I was like, dude, Corey's arc is one of the fucking coolest. Went from like quote unquote fuck boy and all of that into like father of three, has pictures, always talking about his kids and doing his farm.
Teen mom.
He's a great dad. He's a
family man now.
Yeah,
he went from fuck boy to family man, and you know, and I get it, and I think I even said this to Rick while we were watching the episode. Is I was like, look. If I was 20-something years old and I looked like Corey, I would be a fuck boy too. Like, I'm sorry, but you can't look like that and not be a fuck boy or a fuck girl or whatever. I don't know what the female equivalent to a fuck boy is, but
Kayla.
What?
I said Kayla. Sorry.
I was like, what? But yeah, like, you know, but it's just been so fun to watch him go from like the season where he had Anissa, Kayla, Camilla. He had like 3 or 4 girls he had hooked up with all on one season, and they're just firing at his ass. To, you know, now like he just carries this fat stack of photos, and it's crazy because like you can only, you know, obviously bring so much with you, but that fat stack of photos is so important to Corey. He takes it on every single season. Mm-hmm. And I love it. And just adds as the girls get older. And I love it. I love it so much. I loved him talking about his daughter's heart surgery and how that motivated him to, you know, if she can get through that, like I can do this. Like this is nothing compared to what she's had to do. And it was just this whole section of the episode right here was touching, very touching.
So, which leads me into the bigger question. Is Corey the best challenger to never win?
There's a podcast about this. I can't remember what number it was. We discussed about the best to never win it, haven't we?
I think we did do an episode, maybe. But I'm not sure if we released it, to be honest. That might be one of our unreleased episodes.
The lost tapes.
One of our lost tapes that we'll drop when we're ready.
I was waiting for this question to come up, and I was just like, I swear we recorded an episode where we talked about it, and we talked in great length about Corey.
Yeah.
Well, here's the stats for your guys' consideration. 11 seasons. I don't know if that includes this season or not.
It does include this season.
Okay. But out of 11 seasons, 5 finals thus far, could be 6. 3 second place finishes in those finals.
One higher than Bananas.
Yeah. 11-4 in eliminations, which makes him 4th amongst all the men with most elimination wins.
Mm-hmm.
And then 26 daily wins. Is he the best to never win?
How many? He's got 11 seasons, including this one.
Including this
so
one.
So 10, because we don't know how daily wins and elim wins from this.
Yeah, this isn't including that.
We'll just say 10 seasons with, okay. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I just wanted to double check that.
So what do you think, Chris?
Yeah, I think off top of my head, I wouldn't be able to argue against it. I'd have to actually look at the stats and see who else is in consideration. But yeah, if you say Corey's the best to never win, I wouldn't be able to disagree with you. And I think I saw a stat too, where I think he's won 8 elims in a row.
Yes.
Dating back to past seasons, something like that, where when he
was the Widowmaker.
Yeah, he's won 8 in a row, man. So it's I don't know. I would agree with you. Unless I'm trying to think of other people.
I think
the only other person that I've really seen named in contention with Corey that I think is not just people being biased, but that could actually is Kyle. And so I pulled up Kyle's stats, and here's Kyle's stats. He's got 7 seasons, 3 finals. His elimination record is worse than Corey's. It's 7-6. And he's only won 11 dailies. I think that Kyle fucks off a little bit more on the show than Corey. But I think that Kyle is a decent contender in the conversation. But I still think I go with Corey, you know?
Yeah, you got to go Corey over Kyle for sure.
Honorable mention, Leroy.
But Leroy's stats, though.
Yeah.
I mean, I love
I said
Leroy.
honorable mention. Honorable mention.
What's Nelly's stats?
Nelson.
Yeah, I want to know Nelson's stats. I'm curious to Nelson versus Corey.
Yeah, let me pull him up really quick.
Just a few moments later.
Right. A few moments later.
Wake me up when they get to it.
They really hate when I do that to them, by the way. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. No, go back. What are you doing? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 if we count World Championship. Then we do, so we will. So 10 seasons. Nelson's, he's been to 10 seasons, 2 finals, one of which he was 2 minutes and 22 seconds from beating CT. So, I mean, that's. And then the other final was Spies, Lies, Allies. I don't remember where he placed.
That was Invasion of the Champions, right?
He was.
Yes.
He was first or second eliminated because it was where him and Kyle went against each other.
Oh, that was the heartbreak and the TJ talk and okay, you're right. And then he's for eliminations, he is 9, 7, and 1 draw with 12 daily wins.
Okay, so no, not as good as I was thinking.
Not as good. I think that at this point, yeah. And then just one more I will look at just because his name was brought up. And so I just want to. I
mean, you could make a real argument for Fessy, honestly.
Get out of here.
No, you can make a real fucking. Get out of here. Look at the stats.
He's a quitter. Get out of here.
So, 3, I mean, 4, so is 5, Laurel 6, and 7, Bananas.
9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
Okay, so really quick, just to run over these because Katie brought up Leroy. He's been on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 seasons if you count All Stars 4. And he's been to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 finals. He had his elimination record is 9-6.
That's respectable.
I'm sorry, 10-6, and then 26 daily wins.
Huh?
Well, that's
so. I mean,
that's pretty comparable.
It's not a bad. It's not a bad thing. I think a lot of Leroy. I think he doesn't get brought up as much anymore because people just really lay into that. Riding Bananas coattails and the not realizing you're being used by Bananas for all those years and. But honestly, if we got 1 or 2 more seasons out of Leroy, like Double Agents, I think he'd be a champion. Did you want some Fessy stats or you want to move on?
No, we can move on.
Okay, what's going on
happening?
with you? What are you doing?
I just read the fucking title to the elimination.
Oh, you see why this is what I was talking about.
It was good.
Jesus.
This is what I was... Do you want to say it?
Oh, well, of
course.
Do you
want to say it?
So the elimination, which I think should be a mainstay everywhere, coming from behind.
And Derek shouts,
I like that.
I like that name.
I'm not mad about it. I'm not mad.
It gave me Ryan vibes from that daily early.
Yeah, that was pretty good. Yeah. That was really, really
Oh
good.
my God.
It was good. It was real good.
The second I heard them say it, I paused it. I was like, did I hear that right?
Yeah.
And then I rewound it and yep, I heard it right.
I didn't catch it the first watch through. And then I kept seeing people talk about it in comments. And then so when I did my rewatch on Thursday to take notes, I was like,
So you had to look back to catch the coming from behind?
yep.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Nice.
So, all right, I'm going to tell this story.
Oh, no.
Oh no.
You guys remember Rainbow Six Vegas? Like on all the Xbox or PlayStation 2?
Mm-hmm.
So me and my buddies used to play that all the time because you do a co-op against the computer. And I remember there was this one level that we just got fucked up on every time. And, you know, I was a little inebriated and I walked around the corner and I got shot by this guy with a shotgun from behind. And I just yelled out, I got blasted from behind. Heard that for a while after that.
Bet.
So just got to share that for everybody else's enjoyment. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
So as soon as they explained this final and I understood how it worked, like I said, or not this final, this elimination, keep this every season. It should be brought out every single fucking season.
Every season.
Every
Forever.
season. It's like not so fast. You can't use it enough.
I
know
agree.
what I mean?
This be like the start of like an era 5 staple.
Yes.
Like we have like
era
tall brawl and the balls in and pole wrestle. Could this be like the start of an era 5 staple?
I would love that. Yeah.
Coming from behind.
Coming from behind.
Get rich or die trying.
Oh my God.
No.
Yeah, I really like this. I hope that they keep this one around and they even if they don't do it every season, but I hope it's something that we see
More
repeated.
frequent.
Yeah.
I like the rules of it too, like how you could win points multiple ways.
Yes.
Like it wasn't just by ringing the bell.
Yeah.
Yeah. It would have been more strategic if we had two guys that weren't just like see bell, hit bell. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot more strategy that can be played into this particular game that just wasn't played in. And I think that could lend itself to this one coming back in the future.
I would have loved to seen Jordan and Bananas go against each other in this.
That would have been an interesting one.
Or like a West Bananas, someone that could actually put that strategy into play really well.
What were the gaps for? Was that just like designed to look good on the camera maybe? Or I didn't understand what those like gaps were for in the wall. I didn't understand that.
So I honestly I don't know why they were and how it would work running, but typically as you're running, you want somebody that's in front of you and it pushes you to run faster. So like on a long distance endurance runs, like especially in the Olympics, or not in the Olympics, but in other competitions, they'll send out what they call a rabbit, and it's to get the guys to chase them to keep a certain pace going around the track.
Okay.
And that's what I was thinking is, because the defender was getting a head start, you could try to time what you were going to do as the being on offense, basically.
Okay. All right. That makes sense.
You can see where the other person was.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense.
That is completely conjecture, and I have no idea if it's accurate, but that's just my idea.
So, if I'm understanding correctly, hypothetically, Josh, if he was thinking strategically in the moment, because Corey, when Corey was like the tackler guy, on the opposite side to jump over the hay bales, and Josh was just running for the bell. Hypothetically, he could have kept an eye on Corey and timed it right to where Corey was coming around that wall. He could have stopped and like let Corey fall over, jump over him, hit the bell. Like he could have been strategic using that line of sight. Okay.
Yeah, or make it a wrestling match.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, because you had to get them out of the actual ring, right? It wasn't just tackle them to the ground. It was to get them out.
Yeah.
That would have been interesting too. Is
like
the
Josh should have he should have known like, hey, Corey's gonna beat me to the end of the wall. I'm just gonna run, slow up, and then just like let me make it a wrestling match where it's like I'm gonna try and drive through him rather than run around him. Because all Corey had to do was just beat him to the punch and just knock him a little bit. And Josh is they don't call him the goof for no reason. Knock him off balance a little bit and he's out of bounds and Corey wins the round. You know what I mean? So Josh should have at least, if you wanted to make it like a wrestling match where it's like, hey, I'm gonna drag Corey into deep waters. Let me just try and wrestle my way to the bell. That would have been I'm not saying he still wouldn't have lost, but it would have been a better strategy. There's more of a path to victory there for him that way.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I agree with you on that. I think it's still a losing maneuver against Corey for Josh.
But it's better than just trying to beat him to the bell.
100% better strategy. I think that would have been Josh's best way to get through this, but I don't see really a lot of people beating Corey in this one. Yeah. It's just
it was a tough one. It was a tough one for anyone to beat Corey in.
Yeah, and maybe someone like a Horacio who's got the foot speed, but going back to what I was saying earlier, and I think, and I don't want to harp on this too much, but it goes back to having that certain amount of athleticism. And if you notice and you really watch back when Josh is on the offense and he's just got to run straight, you can see that he doesn't know what foot he's going to push off on first. And so by that time, Corey's already got 2 steps before Josh has got one really good plan.
Right.
And also the fact that you know what Corey's going to do. You've already seen it once. Why are you not going to lean into it or do any type of agility?
Literally get real fucking low on him and try to lay him out.
Try to take your arm and carry his momentum past you as you slow down. I mean, football players do it all the time. There's a lot of different things you could have done in that situation.
Right.
With that being said, I think Josh just doesn't do well under intense pressure and doesn't think things through. And this is one of those situations.
Yeah, he also doesn't make very good mental adjustments. Like he did on offense 1 round and defense 1 round, lost both those and tried to do the same exact thing the next time.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like when he was playing Jordan in the tug of war. He didn't adjust the strategy there. He just kept doing the same thing and he lost. I think it's just like a mental lapse on his end where he just needs to be like more aware of, hey, this isn't working, make some adjustments at halftime and come back better. I just think he hasn't been able to do that throughout his entire career.
Yeah, like that ability to just like think on the fly, and work under pressure is a big one, that I think that he struggles with. So,
and I think it's evident with how he handles certain interactions in the house. The way when there's pressure applied, he has an emotional outburst.
Right.
And I think when that pressure is really applied, he doesn't know how to make that adjustment or take that step back and calm down and reapply yourself on it. And I think that was part of the issue because, look, if I have that issue the first time trying to cross the hay bale, what I'm doing next time is I'm running, planting my hands, and then throwing my hips over like I'm hopping a fence.
Right.
Like I'm getting over that hay bale somewhat faster.
He really wanted to walk on that thing like water. I didn't understand what he was doing. I was like, why are you trying to walk on the hay bales?
Yeah, that comes down to that athleticism thing, though. Like you were saying, like that just natural athletic ability. A lot of guys just aren't going to be able to do that. You know what I mean?
No, and that's a really good point because, to be honest, Corey did do that. He literally just jumped up and ran across it, light as a feather, stiff as a board. He was ready to go. So I mean, yeah, it really does come back to the athleticism. But this was a good win for Corey. He goes up 3-0 for this season. He's the only male with 3 elimination wins this season and joins Michele in those ranks as being the only woman this season with 3 wins. So yeah, props to Corey. I'm glad that he's still here in this game and I'm excited to see how far he can take this season.
Agreed. 100%. I mean, look, he earned this win and, it's one of those like, in Game of Thrones, you can choose, what is it? Jury by battle or whatever. Basically saying like the by sword. The sword doesn't lie. The ball doesn't lie. And Corey got his Venegancy.
His Venegancy. He did.
You know what I mean?
He really did.
So.
Yeah, I mean, we get targets next. These were literally no surprise to me. He picks Jenny, Aviv, and Michele, of course. There really were no other options or no other people working against him. So that's just kind of where it goes.
The one thing I liked, and I will give Josh most credit for this.
This is where I will take back a little bit of what I said with Josh strategically is he's maybe not strategic physically, but he's got a little bit of mental strategy.
He knows
and
how to play the game. he is the only one that has really strategically used the karma points in a real way. Which is, I'm going to give my 3 friends the biggest advantage in this final.
And everybody else gets a 1. And not because I don't like you, but because that's going to make the biggest impact for the people that helped me through the game. It was a very strategic way to use those karma points. And I was actually very impressed with Josh in that moment. So I want to give him his flowers for that. Good job, Josh.
So after this, we get the next time, which apparently we're going to be exploring old Viet Cong tunnels, which I did not have on my bingo card for the next challenge.
No, thank you.
Nope.
Look,
I'm good on that.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say, like, if I was there on this seat, this would just be one of the ones where I'd be like, you just send me in. I will take last place. Just to keep me. I'm not fucking going down there.
You were the one that got
fine.
DQ'd.
Yes, it was me. Everybody's wondering who it was. It was me. Okay. Hell no. Are you? I'm claustrophobic already, but hell no.
All right. Who do you guys think gets DQ'd? Because look, I'm going to be completely upfront with everybody. I know all the spoilers, and this isn't in any of the spoilers. So I've got no fucking clue either.
Yeah.
So who do you guys think gets DQ'd?
Do you want to know my honest opinion?
Yeah.
I hate to say it like this. And it's probably not true because she was on screen, but I have a feeling it's Michele. And I feel so bad for her because I'm like, if it's Michele, she just has like the worst luck in dailies. So like, I'm just inclined to be like, it's probably Michele. It's probably Michele.
I could see that.
I don't think you're wrong.
It could be a dude, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I would say Josh, but
he's not even here anymore. But it was Josh.
He's not here anymore, but it was Josh.
It's going to be real devastating if it is a female that gets DQ'd, considering it is going to be a girls' day.
Yeah,
that would be tough. That'd be a tough way to come in last.
It would be, but also, I'm waiting for the day where somebody else comes in last, none of the targets, so that we have all 3 targets in the chamber fighting for safety. You know what I mean? I'm done with the one of the targets loses and then the other 2 fight. I want to see a different situation. So
Rachel's the one that DQs, and then we get all 3 targets. Okay, gotcha.
Maybe Tori. I don't know.
No.
I'm sorry.
Never. That would bail Aviv out pretty heavy too, considering she's a target and has the penalty going in. So if somebody else DQs, that's a girl and it's not her, that's a big win for her.
Yeah, yeah, it is. Yeah.
If it's the guys, because it looks like there's puzzles and different like equalizers in the tunnels, I'm going to say Corey.
That would be heartbreaking.
If it's a woman,
but
I'm going to say Aviv. I really have no reason behind that. As just all I can think of.
That's fair.
She's got the penalty. She's flustered. There you go.
That's fair.
She got plantar fasciitis.
It's a real disease with doctors and medicine and everything.
Also, by the way, for those that were in our YouTube comments, like upset about that, it's a joke. Okay.
People were mad?
People were giving a shit. They're like, no, it really is. It's horrible. And
I'm like,
it's like,
have you,
no,
I
I understand.
it still sounds funny.
I'm like, have you never seen a fucking Will Ferrell movie? What is wrong with you?
I'm a sports fan. I know what it is. Football players get it all the time.
Yeah.
But also watch Blades of Glory. It's what he says about being a sex addict.
Have you never seen a Will Ferrell movie? Okay.
All right. With that being said, let's get our MVPs. Who we got? Derek. All right. Who's
gotta be Derek for the males for sure.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going Derek, Rachel. They both, they both killed it. Rachel is killing the social game, the physical game. Derek is doing great. He kicked ass. I still can't believe he freaking went head to head with Jordan and won. So I'm going Derek and Rachel.
My honorable mention goes to Nelly T.
Oh, I like
just because I wanted to say his name.
Yeah, I like that.
I've got co-MVPs. It's going to be.
You always do.
Fuck off.
I'm just saying, you always do.
But you can't argue this. It's Corey because he goes into elimination, dominates it, and is now the only guy with a 3-0 record in eliminations. And then, obviously, Derek, he fucking beats a GOAT at a daily that GOAT was having the time of his life competing on.
Back.
Oh, wait, no. Derek was pretending he was snatching wigs, so
snatching weaves.
He was having fun too.
It was all hopped up on Mountain Dew though.
Like a spider monkey.
Yeah. No, and then honorable mention to Rachel because she did a great job too. So
yeah.
Agreed.
All right.
I like it.
I got nothing else.
I got nothing. I mean, shit, we've been on here almost about 3 hours. I can't imagine that we forgot anything from this.
Oh,
I hope we didn't.
No episode next week, so
Yeah.
I don't know if we're recapping.
yeah.
That's what
Happy
we went for 3 hours.
Thanksgiving.
Happy
Yeah.
Thanksgiving.
Maybe we'll wait a week and put this out just to make give you guys something for Thanksgiving.
So you guys have something to listen to.
It'll be a surprise who's going to know.
Who's gonna know? They'll
Take
never
us,
No one's going to know.
because I live here now.
Exactly.
Take us with you on that walk before Thanksgiving dinner.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It'll be worth it.
It will.
Does anybody have any closing thoughts, or should I get us out of here?
Get us out of here.
Yeah, I'm
no
good.
more thoughts.
I'm
The
ready.
thoughts have left the brain.
I'm ready to get ready for bed. So I know these two especially are.
You know what? For people with no thoughts, you guys are talking a lot still.
What?
I'm just fucking with you
Where?
guys.
I don't fuck with you.
This fucking guy. Who invited this guy?
Well, for myself, this fucking guy, my beautiful wife, Corrina Hayes, Katie Bad Blood Perhura, Josh motherfucking Chambers, and Chris DiCarlo from Caged In Podcast. Go check it out right now.
Yes.
And while you're doing that, make sure you're subscribed because we're 3 fucking hours in. If you haven't subscribed, what are you doing with your life?
What are you doing here still? Yeah.
Like the video. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We love y'all. We'll see you guys after Thanksgiving.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.